Ladies and gentlemen,
Yo, I got my mic. I got my mic. Hold on. You got it. Am I early? The fuck? I'm never early anywhere. Oh. Can't hear you though. Can't hear you. I don't know if it's me or not.
Can you hear me now?
There I go. There it goes. Yeah.
There you go. Oh man, I just woke up, so I don't know what's working. I left my mic, forgot my mic and everything, bro. It's good, brother.
Would you go to bed like at 6 in the morning or what?
Yeah, probably like at 5-ish.
Is that your insomnia kicking in or what?
Well, it's always like that. It just gets worse in prep, and then it continues to get worse until it comes back around. So at some point in prep, I actually start falling asleep at like 10 o'clock, and then I'll wake up early, but then it'll come back around, and then it's a game that keeps going on in circles. What's up, Ken? What's up, Ronald? RPG?
What up, guys?
What's up, guys? Hi.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, Ken got a new camera?
Nah, dude. Remember I moved, right? So I'm in a new place. That's why I was off last week, dude. Remember?
Oh yeah. So why you look so clear? Is it the lighting or something?
Probably the light's different here. I don't know. I guess my computer's in a better place, so I guess the light's maybe a little better.
My guy Ken got the animal contract now. He got the new place. He got a new camera, new mic. This man is
they pay me that much, dude.
He can't even do this podcast no more. He on a different level now. He getting that animal check. Get out of here, Ken. What's good, Zay? What's good, Joe?
What's going on, guys? You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We got you. Yes, sir.
Hey, Joe's wearing his fucking beats. That means he's not feeling good.
Yeah, he's tired.
I was about to go to my car to get my little AirPods. I left them in there. That's why I jumped on and jumped off. I was like, shit, I don't have my AirPods on. And I saw these charging. I was like, this should work. So here I am.
Yo, Ron, could you do me a favor? Could you flip that phone to the side? Like the sideways view? Appreciate you. Yes, sir. There we go. Yo, we got. I don't know if you guys can see everybody, but we got RPG on today.
Oh,
fresh off the Detroit top 3.
Yeah.
Someone's echoing. Yeah, someone's echoing.
I hear echo. Oh, it's gone? Oh, it's not me then.
Is it me?
Paul, say something, Paul.
Paul, say something. Say something.
It's
Is it me?
There you go. Okay. I think it's good. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember before Detroit Pro, Paul was sending us like pictures of RPG, like, yo, this dude is, watch out for this dude. And everybody was kind of like, yeah, everybody's kind of like, he cool. You know what I'm saying? but you know what it is? It's like the way I am, I gotta see it. I gotta see it on stage, man. I gotta see it on stage. And we saw it on stage, and he definitely bought it. He definitely bought it.
Paul. Thanks for believing in me, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Yo, Ron, before we even knew you were doing Detroit, I actually brought you up on this podcast. You guys remember? I was like, yo, what about RPG? Like, what show is he doing? Do we know? Because, I think it's pretty cool that I feel like Detroit is like the first show, like where people are actually starting to ask questions of like who you are as a bodybuilder, but people that have been in the trenches, we've kind of known you've been there, from the very beginning. So it's like, it's really cool to see that, like, now people are almost like, yo, this guy's physique is crazy. You know, when people are giving you that love and respect that, you know, us guys that have been in the trenches, we've already known how good you've always been. So it's pretty cool to see, man. And congrats.
That's very true.
Congrats.
No, thank you. I
Congratulations.
appreciate that, man. You know, I'm really bad with social media. Even now, I haven't posted anything from the show. Show you how bad I am. So I just kind of lean on the guys that I actually train with. You know, I actually meet, and a little bit of stage time I have. So I guess you could say I'm just an old school word of mouth kind of guy.
Fact.
And Beatty, it's funny you said that, Ron, because everyone on this pod, relatively speaking, I think you're probably the most experienced pro on this pod right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know that for myself, when I recently turned pro, you know, before that, the amateur ranks, it's like, all right, you need to dig down, get to work, and do what you need to do, and you're going to turn pro, right? Well, you do all that work, you're in the trenches, you're working out, you're training hard, put the phone aside, everything, and then you get to the pros, and it's like, what have you been doing? Where's the content? Well, where's the you know? And I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm stuck in a. So it's like even me myself now, like what you're saying, I'm kind of like in that phase now where I'm trying to start being more out there on social media, because it's almost like as a pro now, you have to be your own brand. So
absolutely. Yeah.
No, so I find that interesting when you said that.
That's the path to making money. I'd say, just as a baseline for anybody, have 2 local videographers, somebody cheap, and then somebody that's probably a little bit more expensive, but that can really knock out something. And then just have content just kind of piled up. Because like I said, I have a lot of stuff. I just don't put it out. And then just make a point to just put stuff out there 2 or 3 times a week. That's what I've seen what a lot of guys do. And as far as like fighting the algorithm, I wouldn't even worry about it, because you'd be surprised at the silly shit that catches fire. Compared to like, oh man, this amazing leg day with crazy angles and the backdrop, and you get like 400 likes. Like, well, that was a waste.
Honestly,
that's the most annoying shit. I feel like it puts us in a weird place, because anytime there's somebody trying to get into the sport and it's a young guy, I'm always like, yo, don't get too caught up with the social media shit. Focus on the craft, get good at something.
Yeah.
But then the fucked up part is you do it, and then it's like, well, where's the social media? So like, I'm giving this advice, and at this point, I'm like, is that even the right advice to give anymore? Like, I don't know.
I'd say there's a way you can do it and be organic, right? So usually when I film with someone, after we do a little quick brief of what we're going to do, the last thing I say to them is stay out of my way.
Yeah.
Because I'm putting out real content. I am keenly aware that the camera's there, but at a certain point, the workout is going to dictate everything. And don't do anything you wouldn't fucking ordinarily do if the camera wasn't there. That's just my advice. And usually people can see the genuine nature. And if you come across something funny between you and your workout partner, like, get that shit on camera. And if you don't like it later, you can always edit it out. But try your best to be yourself. But it does take some time to get used to it, because you are aware of this human being that's following you around.
Yeah. You gotta stay true to yourself, no matter what. So even when you do the social media, don't try to be like the next person, because people try to figure out the algorithm. Let me do this, let me do that. But the truth is that the shit is random. People catch on for doing fancy shit. People catch on for doing fucking the most basic phone videos. People, you can catch on from doing anything, but I don't think you should worry about catching on. If you're an actual bodybuilder, you should worry about doing your craft and just happen to show it to the world. That's it. And whether it gets 400 views or 4 million views, that's not really in your hands. As long as you're putting it out there, I think sponsors are going to be like, this person is working hard, this person is doing well, and they're doing social media. No, they don't have 4 million followers, but they're doing it. I think that's good enough. I don't think you have to have 1 million followers to get sponsors, as long as you're true to yourself, true to the sport, So I think
But then you would think too, like when you get that sponsor, like that sponsor is gonna help you grow too and grow your social media. You know what I mean? So that sponsor sees that you're putting out that content and doing what you need to do. I mean, they're gonna want to take you on because they're also gonna benefit from it. You know?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a mutually beneficial agreement, right? Between the sponsor and you. But like just like you said, Beatty, I think that's also part of it. Like with bodybuilding, like us in this space, bodybuilders, because a lot of people confuse fitness and bodybuilding, two different things. I almost feel like that clout chasing is as anti-bodybuilding as it gets. Like, you know, no one in this space is going to take you seriously if you clout chase. And I'm not going to make any names, but there are a lot of successful pros who have done that and are having decent living. But, you know, it took a while for them on stage, you know, for them to show their competitive prowess before people actually started taking them seriously, just because of their social media presence. You know, I guess Good Vito is a good example, right? Like no one really took him seriously till, you know, Detroit and Arnold Classic. So, I mean, it's as a bodybuilder, man, just a new pro coming up. I feel like this is one of those things that you're not usually told. It's kind of like, yeah, don't just expect that, you know, you're going to train hard and be in the dungeon like Dorian Yates, and then you're going to come out the gate and everything's just going to be there for you. Like, nah, it doesn't happen like that, man. You're going to have to pretty much do what everyone else is doing, even on top of that, you know, and there's no guarantee that you're even going to still make, you know, you're still going to make some kind of decent living from this. So, yeah.
Well, with Paul and Joe, I remember at one point I'm like, man, y'all guys should really do social media because it's so crucial right now. And at the time, they weren't really doing any of it, you know. And now you see them doing it, but nothing changed. They're literally doing the same shit they did every fucking day, just the cameras are on. So now you get to see how Joe, you know, gets really big and it comes down, and you see how they progress like crazy every year. And nobody got to see that, and now people get to see it. Like, wow, look at this guy. You know what I'm saying? So they're true to themselves. They're not pretending to be anything. They joke around, they kid around before the workout. Once it's time to work out, they lock in. And I think that's a great example of how to do it without throwing yourself off or without trying to be something you're not. Literally just filming the way you are, and however you are, whether you're serious, whether you're joking, with whatever it is, just put it on camera. You know what I'm saying? Just have the camera there like a fire on the wall, and then you good to go. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was you, Beatty. That, you know how I had an issue like being in front of a camera for a minute, you know. I think it was you just saying always like just be your genuine self, and people will come, you know. Yeah. And I mean, that's just the way we take on like doing the social media too, you know. Like we bullshit, like the camera's not even there.
Yeah,
you know, have the conversation and we're working out. Like it's like the camera's not even there. We're just us doing what we do, you know.
Exactly. Now that being said, it's harder than it sounds, right? For whatever reason, I remember the first time I got on camera, it's kind of like it's hard to be yourself, which is weird, but you're just not comfortable with the camera there. So you got to do it a few times, and then you kind of forget it's there. Like this podcast, I'll forget the shit is on record, and I say something, I'm like, oh damn, that was probably a little too far. You know what I'm saying? But fuck it, you know. But it's like
Rod, be careful on this pod, man. These guys will get you in trouble. Just be careful.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm very political. I'm ready.
Yeah, for me, it's like I'm kind of fearless when it comes to camera, even from the beginning, just because a camera can, unless you're on live, you can always edit out whatever doesn't flow right. So that's true. Be yourself regardless in front of the camera. Even this, like if you do your job and you watch the whole podcast through and make sure that everything comes out clean, then there's nothing to worry about. So I would be myself regardless of what the hell I say.
Yeah, but shit. But I remember. What's up, Stu?
Hey. What up, Stu?
I did the head count wrong. I forgot to count myself, so I'm like, huh.
Got a full house, dude.
I didn't.
Could I just leave?
I didn't realize. I always forget to count myself. I don't know, but fuck it. It is what it is. What I was gonna say, yeah. So I remember watching like some of my old videos, and I used to choose my words so carefully. I don't know why. I would just choose my words so carefully. I'm like, Why do I give a fuck? Like, who cares, bro? This shit is about to get 100 views. I don't fucking nobody gives a fuck like what I say. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but you kind of get comfortable there. But imagine if you've never been on social media and then you hop on a podcast that gets like 1 million views. That might be, you know what I'm saying? It's almost better to work your way up with your own YouTube channel, and then as it grows, you kind of grow as well. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I saw Bumstead's video popped up. It was his first video. Why did it pop out? It randomly popped up. And I'm watching, I'm like, yo, he was awkward as fuck on camera. But I'm sure every single video he got more comfortable, and now he's like a fucking, he became this thing now. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Well, though he's kept his way about it, though. You know how he always says, "What is up, YouTube?" He's always kept that shit.
It's funny because he said that from day one. He didn't do it on purpose. That was just what came out.
That was that awkwardness that you're talking about. But he just kept it and said, "Fuck it, that's just what I'm gonna do."
And I think one of the reasons he caught on is he never pretended to be something. There was a phase from like, I don't know what, 2015 to 2020 maybe, where the cool thing was to flaunt your money. Like guys were in Lamborghinis, flexing with no shirt, and C-Bum was like, that's lame. I'm not doing that shit. And he didn't do it. So he was one. That's when he grew the most, when he was doing the opposite of what they were doing, and he was just being himself, which is kind of what Sam Sulek is doing nowadays. Kind of the anti-influencer. They kind of just regular ass meatheads. They're awkward. They're not trying to be the cool guy. We know they got money. We know they fucking got money, but they're not flaunting that shit because that's not the point. They probably got more money than everybody, but they flaunt it the least because who cares? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. What's up, Stu?
Hey, buddy. Sorry I'm late. Actually, I'm not sorry at all because I didn't even know if we were doing this at noon or 1. Because I mean, you woke up 20 minutes ago. So I mean, if that's the level of commitment from the host, you can't expect more from us.
I swear my mind too.
I missed this prep stew, man.
He's
ready to go. Man.
And I'm on one today. Last couple days been a little tough.
You want to elaborate on that, like diet wise?
Yeah, I'm just really lean, man. I'm fucking tired. So yeah.
Well, show us some. Let's see your arm shot. Let's see how lean the arm is. You see?
Bro, yesterday I went to a 7-Eleven and some guy was like, "Oh, bro, can I see your abs?" I'm like, "Dog, I'm just gonna fucking pick my shirt up inside of 7-Eleven for you. What the fuck?"
No,
I should have asked him for like $100.
It just bothered me. I'm like, who does that? Who does that shit?
If I'm at the gym in prep and somebody like, yo, let's see some, that kind of, I don't know why it rubs me wrong. It's a weird thing to say. Like, are you ready? I'm like, I mean, I guess let's see. I don't know. It's not show day yet.
Mind your fucking business. How about that?
Like, I'm not gonna show my body upon request. I show it on my terms.
Yeah. Well,
those terms are an hourly rate.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, the ones that are supposed to know are always going to know, right? The ones who are supposed to, your coach is going to know, your close friends are going to know, they're going to see it. But the rest of the gym, I don't think it really. Well, they don't even know what to look for anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you put off in the gym, everybody thinks you missed Olympia because they don't know what that even looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, yeah, you got a point. Like, I was just talking to my girlfriend about this the other day. Like, normies at the gym who like try to talk to you about prep. Like, I know they mean well. They're trying to like be friendly and stuff, but like, holy shit, the questions they ask are just they're so dumb. Just simply because they don't understand anything about bodybuilding, right? This is one guy who asked me like, "Are you cutting?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "What are you?" He's like, "What are you going to get down to?" And I'm like, "I don't know." We're just sitting there like looking at each other like, your questions suck, dude. I can't answer your fucking questions. Sorry.
Or you guys get the ones where it's the same people you see all the time. So you come in, they ask you, "Oh, when's your show?" You tell them, "I'm 4 weeks out." You come back next week. "When's your show?" You tell them. You keep that every time they ask, "When's your show?"
Put this down, motherfucker.
One time this kid asked me if I could spot him on a leg press. And I was already gone, bro. And I was like going through it that day, like really bad. And then So I tell him, he was like, "Hey man, do you think you could spot me? I'm on the leg press." And I looked at him, I was just like, "No." And then he's like, "Oh, okay." And then Paul's like, "Yo, dog, don't take that to heart. He's prepping. He's not feeling good."
I felt
Bro.
bad, bro. The kid like turned around and walked away with his tail between his legs, bro. I was like, "Fuck, that's fucked up."
But who wants to spot?
Yeah.
Who wants to spot a leg press though? Like your training partner is the only one that's gonna watch you on a leg press. You should never ask anybody like at the gym to spot you on a leg press.
Bro, set the fucking stops. Get
That's what I
squished.
mean.
Be a man.
All right,
Like
I don't
you're
know.
wasting my time. I'm 3 weeks out. Like
This kid was like
really?
18 years old. This kid was like
the
18
kid was
years old.
young. The kid was probably like
He was
18. He was a
young.
kid.
Yeah, he was
He
super
just looked
young.
up to
Like
Joe.
fresh out of high school. Fresh out of high
But
school.
Paul, you know what that
Something.
is? You know what that is too? And I've noticed that a lot on social media. Like, people like they would see like just regular, let's say like you and Paul, and he's on, maybe Joe's on the leg press and you're seeing Paul there. So they always think that, oh, Paul is there to spot Joe if he fails. But you guys are training partners. You're just there like in the presence. Like I see that a lot on a lot of pro stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they would be doing a leg extension or something or leg press, and maybe their girlfriend's there or their training partner's there with them. So these kids that are coming up, they automatically assume, oh, that person's there to spot them if something happens. But it's a leg press, dude. Like
You
there's
don't.
no
Yeah.
spot. There's no
No.
spot.
Even if you put your hand on it, you're not really spotting the motherfucker on a leg press.
Yeah.
You're just watching them. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
speaking of training, Ron, did you first of all? Who was your coach? Who was your coach for Detroit?
Abdullah.
Oh,
You've been
And
working there
did
for a
you-
few years now, right?
Yeah.
oh, so you've been with the same coach since last show, right?
My entire pro career.
Oh, okay. So what do you feel changed? That because I feel like would you agree this was by far your best look?
Yeah, for sure.
What changed between then and now that brought this look? Would you say, if anything?
In a concise way. So about 3 weeks before the show, because Psycho Lewis is my trainer, the three of us got on the phone, and I was in pretty good shape. And the question was, do we want to push for like concrete or do we want to push for fullness? Because right now we can go either way. And we decided to go with fullness. So the strategy was like we kind of got rid of structured cardio at that point. And what he had me do is I pretty much had cardio about 10 minutes or so every time I had a meal, which basically was enough to keep me where I was, but I felt fresh. And then when I got to Detroit, what's up?
Like 10-minute walks? Like you talking like 10-minute walks after the meals?
Yeah,
Okay.
just a 10-minute walk. Like after I ate, I
like
just
that.
walked and came back. There was no burden of performance or anything. It was just do 10 minutes, just listen to one song in one direction and come on back home. And that was enough to kind of keep me where I was. So I didn't have to kind of, let me go do an hour cardio or let me not do any cardio today. That was just enough to kind of keep me where I was. And then when we got to Detroit, we cut it out completely. And I trained, and then we just kind of picked up the frequency of the check-ins probably to about 4 or 5 times a day. And so Thursday, we started carbing up, and we went at 7 meals, 250 carbs per meal.
Whoa.
Wait, 250 grams of weight or carbs?
Carbs.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's a lot of fucking food. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh,
Wait, we're talking
Holy.
about the food amount or the carb amount?
The carb
Like
amount.
carbs.
That's- carb amount.
Damn.
damn.
Yeah,
Oh my god, that's about 1750 for the day.
it was a
Whoa.
lot. But, so we
Holy
basically
Fuck.
we had it's about 400 grams of rice with a muffin per meal, and then the last meal was
yo.
400 grams of carbs via sweet potato, and then So this is my view. Everybody views it differently. I think people carb up too late into the show. Meaning the day before, that's when people spill over. So our job was to fill out
Early.
by Saturday. By Saturday morning, we wanted to play it like time it as if Saturday morning was a show, even though the show was Sunday. Right? So we went super high on those 2 days to the point where I didn't want to see any food. That's what people ask, oh, what do you want to eat? Like, you have no idea what I'm doing to myself. And then Saturday, we went back to like 400. Okay. So Sunday morning, I looked the best I had. We didn't do anything crazy with water manipulation. I'll tell you, like, the scheduling was 7 liters beginning of the week. Friday, we went down to 3. And then Saturday, we went down to 1 liter. That was the water schedule. So when that was done, I woke up on Sunday. I was crispy. He basically said, grab a burger, some fries, and a muffin. And that was it.
Wow.
So did you go like a little heavier on like Thursday, Friday so that you could like let your stomach rest and digest on Saturday? Or what was the rationale there? Because like that's so much food to force in the day before. I could see why that would be a problem.
Yeah, so what we've learned, like with at least with my physique, and like the science kind of dictates this, is that like, you know, there's like a backlog of a day when you eat carbs, right? So the carbs that you're having today is probably going to help you out tomorrow, right? So we aimed everything for like Saturday, and then Sunday was more like cleaning it up. That's why we switched our focus to fats. We switched our focus to fats on Sunday morning, so I can just hold it, I'll be satiated, and I get a great pump, and I was good. And it worked out pretty good.
Okay.
I felt like
it's
you play a dicey game if you do that many carbs the day before, just in my opinion.
Yeah, the whole rationale. It's like the whole rationale behind
too much work. Well, here's the thing: what people don't understand, like, it's hard to carb up without water involved.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what ends up happening is a lot of people carb up on like dry or little to no water, which is why like Saturday we went lower, but I was also down to 1 liter of water. So it let my body deal with the water process without having to deal with the food. Because if I would have been shoveling that many carbs into my body on 1 liter, it wouldn't have worked out well. I wouldn't have been able to take a poop or anything.
It's the whole process of when people have like, you know, the day after the show, they wake up and they're like super peeled, you know, because they've had a little bit of water, low stress, they've had some carbs, like, but it's usually the day after. So like, I kind of get what you're saying. And then you have time to kind of pull back. If you do spill over on that Saturday, you have a little bit of time to pull back before the actual show. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I mean, it worked out well. So if you ask me specifically what we did differently is we compartmentalize each part of the process. Like we did cardio, we left it there, and then we really focused on carbing up without major water manipulation. And then we focused on water manipulation without focusing on carbs at the same time. And each process worked out on its own.
I think you ate more carbs in 1 day than Beatty does in like 7 weeks of prep.
You did.
You see his face when he was like, "You ate how much?"
Wait, grams of weight, or we talking grams of carbs? I'm trying to figure this out. You know what I'm saying? We had to do that a couple times.
I think too, what really helps too is like, again, this is just, I think everybody kind of functions like this if they really like study how their body functions, is that like, if you have a lot of carbs without the fats involved, it'll actually run through you, especially when you're in really, really good condition. So the proteins I was eating was like no fat. I was just eating white fish. So I was eating white fish, white rice, and then like muffins. And when you eat that, there's no slowdown effect to like basically the backlog. And like I said, I think a lot of times people carb up with things that have higher traces of fats than they know. And then that messes up the whole process, in my opinion.
Yeah. So yeah, when Ron was saying that, I noticed there's a couple of benefits in that, right? First of all, the timing of not spilling over, not having like a crazy bloated stomach from carbon up too close, but also if you really wanted to be as full as possible, right, without spilling over, that would be the best way to do it, because how would you know the threshold of your fullest possible unless you spill a little bit? Because you don't know where the cap is, right? What if you still have another 500 carbs before you're full? You wouldn't know if you don't try it. So you push it to the point that you're about to spill or you almost spill, then you have another day or two to pull back. That's how you kind of get your fullest, right? If you just guessing, but well, you look full enough, that's probably, full enough, but it might still not be your fullest, So
yeah, and hence the increase in check-ins. Because you really want to monitor that. Oh, in the last part of that sequence is too, I trained up until Friday. Saturday, I did not train. So again, when I was on Saturday, I only had enough water to basically live in that hotel room. So I'm not going to have enough. I wouldn't dare train on a liter of water. And I don't have to worry about pushing carbs with that liter of water. So that liter of water just functioned to help me pose throughout the day. And like I said, when I was eating those carbs, although I wasn't in the gym tearing things up, it was enough carbohydrates to see my body get a little bit of a pump. There was some calorie being burned there, but again, it was enough to kind of keep things moving in the right direction. Same thing with the 10-minute walks. Like that does a lot of wonders for digestion, believe it or not.
Any of you guys ever
Stan Efferding's very big on that.
Yeah, he's very, very smart man.
I think AJ's big on that too, on it with his clients.
Who's that?
Cement Factory? AJ?
Have any of you ever tried the earlier carb up thing? Not really.
Not really. No.
Well, I mean, I've told you guys, mine is I've only done one prep with Andrew, so we've only done it once. But we carved up the day before, and then the day of the show, we just had our regular meals. We didn't do
you don't really have to eat much though, do you, Kennedy?
No.
Yeah. Well, so Ron had to eat a lot. I have to eat a lot. I'm kind of I was talking to Blue about this for this year, because you typically, I'll taper my water down just like Ron did. And I'll bring my carbs up, but Friday, if it's a Saturday show, Friday is the heaviest carb day. And I'm not having any problems going to the bathroom, but there's still a ton of food going into that point. And I think I kind of want to do something more like you did, where Friday isn't the highest day necessarily. So I roll in at 1 to 10 on fullness, you're a 7 or an 8 by the time you wake up Friday morning. You just do a little bit more, and then you're ready to roll, just because for me, my waistline is critical to everything looking good. If that's not where it needs to be, then nothing else fits together, right? So the same with Ron, he's a big, tall guy. The structure is his biggest tool, right?
So you got to think too, right? So everything kind of has a mirror image to it, right? So when you have these low days or no carb days or whatever that leads to peak week, right? You basically have it. What would you guys say, about 2 or 3 days to really lower your glycogen storage?
Yeah, about
2 days.
Yeah, about 2 or 3. So when you think about that, it's the same thing with buildup. So if you really build up your glycogen storage for 2 or 3 days, that next day afterwards, you got more than enough to keep you going around where you need to be. So it's not imperative to have shoving glycogen right up into the minute that you go on stage, because again, a lot of it's just our psychological dependency as bodybuilders to think that. But at the end of the day, if you go stupid high with your carbohydrates on Thursday and a Friday, and a moderate amount on Saturday, your glycogen stores are going to be huge. Just the same as if you go no carbs Monday through Wednesday and you have carbs on Wednesday, you didn't refill those stores. You're still going to be starving for about 2 more days, because it takes time to backfill that area, that hole that you dug. So it's the same concept.
Yeah. I think Stu could benefit off of that, and Paul maybe Zay too, because
I mean, everything is predicated on being in shape, and I know Stu's in shape. So once you're in shape, you can kind of
hard to fuck up, if you're actually like lean.
You created a birthday party for yourself, right? And I think what a lot of guys is that if you're not in shape, well, you're trying to dance with too many dance partners at once. Because you're still trying to dance over here. You're trying to, I'm trying to drop a little bit of fat and get harder. Okay, I got to drop my water. I still want to carb. You got too much shit going on. And the fact of the matter is you're not in shape. So it ain't a lot that you can really do. And then you want to blame it on being flat or full. And it's like you weren't lean enough. If you're lean enough, then you really can't go wrong. You might be flat, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. Wrong question for you. Sorry. I know your last show was like 2 years ago. Was it Tampa? Tampa was your last show?
No, I did Indy. I had a really bad show at Indy. Yeah. I think that's why they canceled.
What was your weight then versus what was your weight then versus now at this show?
I was 260 at Indy and 264 here.
Okay.
But if I was as lean as I was
back then
in Detroit and Indy, I probably would have been 255.
Yeah.
Wait, also, how tall are you?
6'1". Well, I lost an inch somewhere, so I'm not 6'1" anymore. I'm 6 feet.
Oh, he's honest. He's honest though.
Yeah, I was thinking 6'2". I was thinking 6'2".
No,
you can make it up if you grow your hair out. Pro tip.
see, Ron could get away with saying he's 6'2", but he said
I believe
6
it.
foot.
I was going to say 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, I would believe it too. Most guys give an extra inch or two, man. Let's be real, man.
I get it. For the 5'10" and 5'11" crew. For the 5'10" and 5'11" crew, those guys really don't exist. I get it. They just naturally
when you're shorter, you try and make up that inch. You try and round up. Once you hit like a certain point, you're just honest.
I'm comfortable.
Once you hit past 6 foot, you're like, I'm 6 foot.
Basketball. When I played ball, I was 6'3", and I just rode with it. And then my true height, during my military time was 6'1", and then I had a physical about a month and a half ago, and they were like 6 foot and some not centimeters or whatever, and I was like, damn, I got shorter, I guess. I blamed it on being lean and losing that pad of fat under my foot. That's my story,
bro.
It actually happens.
Check it out.
I'll be watching these shows, and I'm like, how is everybody 6 foot, but they're all different heights? Fucking Rafa 6 foot, Samson 6 foot, Regan, James, Akeem. I'm like, motherfucker, how is everybody 6 foot, but everybody's completely different heights? I'm like,
I knew that all bodybuilders lie about their weight, right? That's just a truism. We all lie about our weight. But the height thing, I never thought that was like, I don't know. I thought everyone was just okay with being a jacked midget, right? Like I don't care.
I could tell you all of those names as a 6 foot guy. I can tell you who's really 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
if you want to know.
I think I feel like Sam. Would you say Samson's actually 6 foot or close to it?
No.
You see? See? Close it.
5'11".
He's a 5'11" guy, yeah.
5'11".
I got a picture with Akeem, and he was like, I shit you not, he was like right here. I'm like, Akeem probably like 5'8".
5'8" for sure.
Akeem is not that tall,
like
dude.
Eye to eye with him. I remember in Tampa, like he's my height. Like
he's not 6 foot, dude.
Well, that's why Stu looks.
Yeah, Akeem is like 5'8", 400 pounds. Yeah, that's Akeem.
Yeah, he looks like it.
Regan is my height, so he's 5'11". He's not 6 foot neither.
He's 5'11" as well. Yeah.
Again, though, he's got hair, so
yeah. I mean, you gotta. He actually looks 6 foot because he has the width and everything, but like fucking 5'11" people don't exist. 5'10" people don't exist anymore.
They don't. Listen, if I was 5'11", I'd claim 6 feet, no doubt.
Get some different shoes, man. Whatever, like.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, that's why Stu actually looks so tall, because Stu actually is 5'9", but everybody who else who's 5'9",
I thought
is
it was
5'7".
like 5'8.5".
And he's got a massive head too.
Yeah,
So it's
that
like-
kind of helps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little longer.
I do, don't I?
Yeah. Yeah, Stu looks tall in person.
Two things that you did say, Ron, that we kind of just skimmed over, but it's kind of pressing in my head. You said two things. You said one, you played ball, and two, you were in the military.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about you. Maybe the guys do because they're in Cali. So if you could just I don't know, just give me a little bit. Did you play professionally, in the NBA or
No.
college?
No.
College?
Damn,
Bro,
Ken,
if you played
NBA.
professionally, you wouldn't be doing fucking
I know.
bodybuilding.
I'm trying to just
Living on a
understand. Did he
beach.
go
No.
overseas to play?
I'll play for the Lakers. Yeah, I did 5 years of the
Trying to
Lakers.
set precedents here. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you went to the military, so it's I'm just trying to find out.
No, so they kind of both went hand in hand. I was not a really good basketball player at the level that I was trying to attempt to be in.
Okay.
I walked on and I spent some time on a team, and the coach that was there, if you ever walked on a sports team, you got to do a year in the hole, just get beat up on a practice squad. And he basically said, hey, if you do this, we'll try to find a bench spot for you, So next year he found another job. So the other guy, rightfully so, he didn't want to honor that. He's got to do with his own scholarship. So I said, no problem. I still enjoyed the experience, and I got a little bit better playing with those guys who are really good. And then I still needed some more money for college. I had academic scholarships, but as you go up in class, the price goes up, so your scholarship is less valuable. So I left and I joined the Air Force Reserves. And I was a pretty small guy, by our standards nowadays. But, at the time I had little arms and whatnot, so I was proud of myself. And I had my first growth spurt, I'd say, during that time. Most people lose weight during basic training. Yeah. I went from 175 to 190 during basic training, even with all of the running we were doing. So it let me know at that time I was under eating by a lot. So I came back to school to finish my degree. So I would say the last 4 years of college, I was doing my reserve. You guys hear about once a month, 2 weeks out of the year. I was that guy.
ROTC?
No,
ROTC
is a little bit different. So ROTC, you actually are in class every day in the military format. And then you signed a contract to be an officer for 2 to 4 years afterwards. So I was considered a reservist, where basically if shit hit the fan and they really needed you, you go and you back up and you do everything that you're trained to do. It's just that you get a minimal amount of time to keep up with all of the boxes you need to check as far as readiness and all that. So I did that, and it was great. So I had a really good military experience.
Do you work full time outside of bodybuilding? I
do.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do, if you don't mind? Oh,
I do mind. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I'm not going to if you don't mind. Yeah. That's okay. We don't want.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. He's a gigolo. Not in the military.
Gigolo.
Quasi.
That's Beatty's game.
Well.
Beatty's game.
Kind of like the Liam Neeson guy. I'm kind of like that. I will find you. I kind of do stuff like
that. Yeah. Speaking of basketball, bro, I finally watched the Phil Heath documentary. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah, I did.
It's really
Everybody
nice.
seen it? Who else?
Yeah,
who
I haven't watched it.
How about Stu? You watch it, Stu?
What's it on?
I saw it on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, okay, I'll watch that.
You can rent it. No, you can rent it.
No, you gotta rent it.
You gotta rent it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime too. You could do it.
That kind of changes
the
things.
Pirate Bay.
Yeah. No, but I didn't realize Phil played he played D1 ball. I'm like, D1? I thought we talking D2, D3. He played D1. I'm like, oh.
He was legit. He was legit.
But there was a video, Phil caught an alley and windmilled it. I said, did Phil at 5'10" just windmill dunk it? I'm like, what the fuck? That shit.
5'9".
Ron knows.
You got to think, what kind of fucking athlete at 5'9" plays D1 ball, is windmill dunking it, and looks like a fucking men's physique pro? Like, I'm like, that it doesn't even make sense, bro. Just genetically,
I wouldn't even say men's. I think Phil, with probably a handful of other guys throughout like history, was just made to be a bodybuilder. Like
100%, 100%.
That was just it, man. They call him a gift, man. The guy just had gifts that nobody else has ever had.
Some of these videos, bro, he wasn't even lifting weights, and he's playing ball, and you're seeing the fucking shoulders and biceps. I'm like, the fucking calves. I'm like, that's insane, bro. That's somebody who's doing cardio all day, eating like 1 or 2 fucking shitty meals a day, and looks like that.
You see what college athletes eat like. It's bad.
And
It's
bro,
really bad.
there are guys on the amateur level that are enhanced that didn't even look like that, dude.
There's a lot of them. Oh,
Dude,
most of them.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that guy was gonna win. He was gonna be one of the best, almost no matter what, you know. But one thing I'll say is, just because you have the genetics physically doesn't mean you'll make it unless you have the genetics mentally. And Phil had the genetics mentally. I mean, listen, if you're gonna play D1, I don't know if people even know what that consists of. Playing D1 ball, you could be super skilled, and they'll eat you the fuck alive if you're not strong up here. They'll destroy you before you even shoot your first shot. So mentally strong, bodybuilding, as far as other competitors, is a joke compared to how mentally tough you got to be in D1 ball. You will be embarrassed to even take a shot if you're not up here. So to Phil, bodybuilding, the mental side was easy. Everybody else was, and Phil was like, this is nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, bodybuilding takes a lot more discipline every day of your life, obviously. But I'm just talking about the mental toughness to go against other athletes and not be intimidated. Phil, you can tell Phil had that in strides because of his past. Kai couldn't face him. Even when Kai was coming at him, Kai couldn't face that guy. If anything, it backfired on Kai, and he kind of destroyed himself after that press conference. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was a really good documentary. And the funny part is, I'm sure Phil wanted to win at Olympia, and they were probably making that documentary for the win. Now, here's the thing. It actually benefited him to lose. It made him human, and it made him relatable. We can't relate to him. Listen, he won every show he ever did with perfect scores. From his first show as an amateur till the fucking Ironman. So he won the Colorado, he won the New York Pro, he won the Ironman, all this shit like a walk in the park. Now, if the video finished with him winning another one and getting 8, he would have been like Superman, and we wouldn't be able to relate. We got to see Phil cry. We never got to see Phil cry, be emotional, like from a sad point of view, not from being happy. We never got him humanized. Generation I did the opposite. He was invincible. So seeing this side of him actually made him more likable to a lot of people. So even though he wanted to win that, I think it going this way kind of shows actually like a more relatable side of Phil, and he came across really well. You know, the opposite of how he came across in Generation Iron. You know,
it also shows how difficult bodybuilding can be, even when you're at the top level like that. You know, because if he just came back, I wish they had gone a little bit more in depth into what it really means for someone to take a year off and try and come back and win a title. They didn't really go as much into that, but statistically, the only person that has ever done it is Jay Cutler in the 60 years of the Olympia. So it's like, I wish they went a little bit more into that, because it also shows, like, you know, each year you step away, the competition continues to progress. And like, no matter how good you are, the sport itself is still very tough, you know, to begin with.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
So do you think, had he not taken a year off and he came back and he would have faced Brandon in 2019,
And Bonac.
what do you think the result would be?
Either one, I think.
I
Well,
think so.
I think
the
he
thing
would
is,
have won.
if he'd had his stomach issue still, because that's why he took the time off, right?
Right.
I didn't watch the documentary. I'm not sure.
So
That's-
there's so many
You
things
are right, Stu.
contextually within that, right? So if he comes back and he wins, but the guy who beat him, who's obviously now no longer with us, was on the sidelines, the narrative would have been you still couldn't beat Sean. So I don't think he couldn't win no matter what he did. He wouldn't have been Phil Heath, the champion that we knew. The narrative would not have been the same.
Yeah, well, Stu also had a point. In theory, if he could have bought that 2020 look, could he have won? Because Brandon wasn't like shredded, but I don't know if he would have been able to bought that look. Because if you look at the hernia
Brandon,
surgery,
you got to keep in mind, Brandon did beat him when he came back.
he did.
Yeah.
But that Brandon was sharp. That Brandon that beat him was in better condition, right, than 2019.
And that was a Phil that was coming back. He was trying to regain his size. Remember that last year he had lost so much size to begin with. So he was trying to get that size and come back for the Olympia. So it wasn't the same Phil either.
Yeah.
No, of course.
I don't know. I guess the question would be: Is 2020 Brandon, who finished second, is he better than 2019 Brandon, who won it all? I have to look at the pictures at this point.
Yeah.
I believe I actually think he was better in 2020.
Yeah,
I do think
Yeah, because he was shredded. Now, from an aesthetic point of view, like if I look at it, what looks better? I actually like how 2019 looked aesthetically, but he just wasn't shredded enough to beat like a shredded Phil. But now that being said,
I think, yeah, I was gonna say the best Brandon was 2019 Arnold when he beat Bonac.
Yeah.
That was the best. Brandon.
Oh yeah.
He was really light there too. People don't realize how he was in like the 230s or something. That's the lightest he'd been in ages.
You don't gotta be heavy, man. You don't gotta be that heavy, But when I watched the documentary, watching Phil's stomach after the surgery, like right after when he went to the doctor and they were touching it, man, that stomach looked fucked up. It looked like he would never get abs again. He said he couldn't control it, he couldn't feel it. So if he came back that same year, I don't know. I don't know if he would be able. I don't think he could have. I got to be honest. I think his stomach would have. I'm surprised he ever actually got abs again because it looked like you know how The Rock had surgery and he has no abs, like never has abs. It looked like that's where Phil was going to go. I don't know if it's the same surgery, but it was completely washed out, full of water. And I'm like, yikes, So I don't know if he could have came back in 2019. I think he probably needed that year off.
But do you agree? Because I didn't see this originally when I watched that Olympia on the live stream, but looking at that documentary footage of when he actually came back, his physique was drastically different from
it was. Yeah,
past. Like you could tell that, he
was smaller.
Even just the way everything
the
sharpness. It was just so different.
No pop.
Man. So
I didn't notice that when I watched it originally. When I watched it originally, I was like, yo, Phil is pretty spot on. But watching it, you know how his glutes usually look like Lunsford craziness? That wasn't there. Now, he was lean. His glutes weren't fat. But I think once Phil's 3D-ness is what made him so special. So when he lost that pop in his glutes, it kind of looked like a regular shredded glutes, which it never looked regular. Nothing ever looked regular about his physique, but it kind of looked like that's how you look when you're lean, but it wasn't like, wow, look at Phil, Yeah. Now, some of the behind the scenes shit in the gym, it just shows you how crazy all these people look because even though he's wasn't who he was in those gym videos and shit, you're like, holy fuck, that looks fucking insane. Him walking around in the gym, I'm like, yikes, that looks like the best bodybuilder ever, which, on
people
stage.
forget how big he was because that's not what he was known for. He wasn't known for being like a big structure guy, like a mass monster. There's all the bubbliness around us and shape and stuff. But he was fucking heavy. He was competing at 250 at his biggest at 5'8", 5'9", right? That's no joke, man.
If you were to project Phil with reasonably wide structure, and just kind of project that same amount of pound per square inch, Phil would have easily been competing probably at 265.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing about the 2020 version. Because he didn't have that pop, you kind of notice the lack of structural width again, which we hadn't noticed in a while. Because Brandon is a pretty wide guy, but nobody says that Brandon is not like a Jay Cutler width, but he looked quite a bit wider than Phil, which we've never seen Brandon actually noticeably look wider than Phil, right? Because Phil was so bubbly that it didn't matter that he wasn't,
it almost helped him to. It almost helped him to a degree because, especially in those most muscular shots, it just looked like mounds and mounds of muscle just fighting each other during that pose. That's just my take. I think sometimes his narrowness kind of helped him in that particular pose for sure.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. It's funny that you never get the respect you deserve until you're retired, because when he was going on, people were just like, you get used to it, you get bored of it. Every year we're like,
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was a fun time. But do you think there's anybody currently active in the IFBB that has any chance of having like a dynasty like Phil, which would be getting a few titles, but also not just barely getting it, but getting it in like a dominant fashion? Do you think anybody is capable of that that's currently active?
C-Bum's been doing it. I don't know if you're talking about bodybuilding in particular. Like open.
Come on, Joe. We're talking about bodybuilding.
They train just as hard, bro.
No, I mean, C-Bum is doing it, but for open guys, what do you think?
I mean, they're saying Darren Lunsford is that guy, but I don't know, man. It's so competitive right now, and everybody's so good. I mean,
when you're a coach, because Hani was saying that Hottie would have beat him. That's how close it is. Then yeah, I don't see Derek doing it.
Yeah, you would. Uh-huh.
Even the lead up to Phil getting to the Olympia, like people were scared he was coming. Like I don't think we're in a place at this point where there's a guy that's that dominant that he can just walk in, and just separate it year after year. I don't think.
No, I don't. Now I remember me, Zayd, and Xavier bet on the Olympia this year, and we all bet 3 different guys. Now, even though Kai had the fans, we want Kai to win. If you told a motherfucker to bet money, let's bet $500, nobody was gonna bet on Kai. Everybody was gonna bet on Phil if the money came down to it, right? It's cool to say, "Oh, this guy's gonna win," until you bring the money up. Even with me, Zayd, and Xavier, once the money came up, everybody kind of got like, "Whoa, I don't know. Let me think about this
can't wait
answer."
to collect my money from you, bro.
No, but it's like, let's be real, right? Phil had it like that, where the whole lead up, we all knew Phil was gonna win, bro. Nobody knew Derek was gonna win. Nobody knew even Hadi was gonna win. No, it's one of those things that is so close. Now, if we talk about like a timeline, Derek has the most potential because of his age and where he's at to win the most.
Right.
But winning the most, first of all, doesn't mean it's going to be consecutive, and doesn't mean it's going to be, straight ones or decisive. Because if Derek could win 5, well, let's say he wins 5, but it's going to be a very close 5. It's not going to be like Derek fucking got this. It's going to be like, I don't know. But I don't actually think anybody's going to win more than 3, 4. 3. Yeah, even 3, 4 is pushing it. I could see Derek, like I said, because of age, he's going to outlast them as well. So unless somebody new comes, Derek and Nick have the most time to be able to get the most. So I think I don't want to discount Hadi out of the feet because he already has one, but I think Derek and Nick for the next 5-6 years are going to be kind of the ones going at it the most. I don't know how long Hadi's going to compete or anything like that, though.
I disagree to a little bit, to an extent, and I think that I would say Samson. And the reason I say that is I think that if he is to become the champion tends to run the narrative of what they want. You see? And if he becomes the champion and that's the look that they chase, and someone has to say, "Are you better than that?" that's where the difficulty comes. So I think when he's kind of chasing these guys that are different than him in the stature department, it's going to be hard to overcome because obviously the knock is bring the conditioning. But if he becomes that guy and the lead criteria now becomes structure and size, I don't see anybody else that can come and say, okay, I can beat you at your game. And that becomes the kind of the toss up. And I'll give you a perfect example. Like, so when Ronnie was the lead dog, his body changed. And if you notice, as his body changed, the criteria for what they wanted changed with his physique.
Yeah.
So Ron, my only question with that, I guess, is, and
It's
we've
too
talked
big of
about,
an if.
yeah, we've talked about so much of this podcast, right? So like, if Samson comes in that condition, they want, is he still going to be the same Samson? You know, everyone is picturing this mass monster that's aesthetic, like Lee Haney, that's shredded to the bone. But what is he sacrificing if he comes in extremely peeled to get that look? And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not convinced it's going to be the same guy that we're
Me
seeing
neither.
right now. You know?
At this point, no, me neither.
Well, my hypothesis is this. I think that if he gives it to them one time to win, okay, and he basically suffices their desire to see this hard graininess. Again, once I think you become the lead dog, then I think that what you produce then becomes the lead criteria. So if he can do it one time, I think he can go back to what he's been giving us now.
Yes,
because he's the champ.
I'm just not convinced that he can do it. I got to be honest.
That's granted. I'm just leaning heavily on winning multiple titles. And that's the physique that when maxed out, I see that being able to win multiple titles compared to some of the other physiques where few more stars have to align, in my opinion.
The problem with that for me is 2, 3, and 4. If Samson wins, for example, their conditioning is too impeccable, man. Derek, Hadi, Nick. It's almost like even if he came back with what we see right now, I don't think anyone's mind is going to justify that. You know, that conditioning is what's going to give him the Olympia. Like when you look at Derek or you look at Hadi in comparison to Samson is peeled. Don't get me wrong, he's in condition, but when you compare him to Hadi, it's like night and day, man. It's almost like you can't even give it to him, even if you wanted to. Like it's the disparity is just too high.
How can you sit here and say that
he's
Samson
not
is peeled?
Yeah, he's not peeled.
There's that much of a disparity between actually peeled and whatever Samson is. You're rooting for your Nigerian brother. I get it. But as another Nigerian, I gotta call a spade a spade. There's a big, like you said, there's a big gap there.
Well, see, I don't. There's always gonna be some ifs, but to me, Samson's if is too big. I think Samson's if is just as big as Andrew. I think if I'm gonna say if Samson comes, he can win. Well, I can say that about Andrew.
Okay, so let me give you an example of my theory, right? So Brandon won in 2019, right? Rami won in 2020 and 2021, correct?
Yeah.
And who finished second to him?
Brandon twice, right? 3 times.
Brandon twice. Okay. The following year, Hadi won. Right? Brandon slipped to 3rd or 4th, right? Why was he 3rd or 4th?
Brandon?
Yeah.
Because he came in way too heavy.
Why did he come in heavy?
Oh, he was trying to compete with Rami. Yeah, go.
He's in the champ. So that's my theory. When you're the champ, you set the table for the criteria unless you're extremely off. And that threw off everything. I firmly believe if Brandon would have brought in the physique that was the best for him without Rami in the equation, he would have beat Hadi just the way he did the previous years. That's just my opinion. I
think we all agree that if Samson is able to win it, he could hold it. If he brings the look able to win it, I just don't think the rest of us are convinced I don't even know if you're convinced that he will bring it. You're just saying that if he does, right?
I'm talking about high end potential. I'm talking about high end potential to win multiple. When you say, hey, if these guys bring their best and this guy brings his best, who's capable of bringing their best multiple times and winning based on what they bring? And like I said, his gifts are going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else's gifts are contingent on the prep and how things go. And his issue is going to be conditioning. Everybody's got issues. I'm just saying they ain't going to grow 5'11", 300 pounds. That's not going to happen. So how do you grade this extra 50 pounds of muscle?
What about his age? Don't you think his age could be eliminated?
That would be the governor. That'd be the governor to the whole situation.
I was thinking about that with Andrew as well. And then I was like, the caveat to that would be Quentin Beastwood, because he has that what do you say, 6'1"? What do you call that, Ron?
I think
he's a legit 6'1". Yeah.
Yeah. So you have that guy who is already has shown better shape and condition than Andrew and Samson, and has a very similar structure. Probably even, I think, a better midsection, possibly than both of them. He's obviously not as densely muscled.
Yes, Andrew Jack, man, come on.
Yeah, Andrew's midsection.
Andrew's midsection.
I think he's speaking on the size.
The size of it, but the size of the rest of his body is also smaller. So I won't give him that yet. But yeah, but Andrew had the better looking abs for sure. You know, so he has that part, the height, the structure, already has the condition. So he already actually has another box cross checked, and then he has the age. So I think it's just a matter of time. Once he matches that muscularity, I mean, the sky's the limit. My fear, and I don't want to get in trouble because I don't want to call out judging. It's just my opinion. My fear with Quentin is that his better years will be wasted chasing what people tell him will be better. And once you go past a certain point, you can't come back. It's my firm belief that Ramy was not judged properly during his best years. I don't think the 2 years that Ramy won the Olympia were anything close to his best looks. I don't think so. They weren't. Yeah. And I don't think they were close. The difficult part was he had to go against Phil. That was the hard part. But it's not like Ramy was getting second. You get what I'm saying? If it was just him losing to Phil, I'd agree with you. But I'm just saying I think Ramy entered that realm with Shaquille O'Neal, where it's just like, how do you referee this guy? And I just think that when you have a guy that's on stage, and let's say he's 2% less than another guy on conditioning, but he's got 40 pounds of muscle, I don't think you can say that's a wash. Yeah. Shit. I mean, if all of us put our prep coach hat on, right, and you get two clients to come to you, and one client says, "Hey man, can you just really help me like get 1 or 2% leaner for a show?" And another client comes to you and says, "Can you help me put on 40 pounds of muscle?" Which one are you going to sign up for? Yeah. Well, Ramy from 2015 to 2018. He's lost to Dexter. He lost to Bonac. He lost to Wolf. He lost a lot of people that you could make an argument for him winning. You know, he wasn't fat.
He was never like, you know, he was. I'm trying to think if he was ever as soft as Samson.
2013, 2013 New York Pro, his debut in America. You could put that look against his Olympia win, and I think he looked better.
And you know, the thing is, like, I think they were being judged against, or he was being judged against his potential and living up to his potential, which could have been harder. You know, it could have been, you know, better in some ways, but like fucking A. You see where I'm getting at with Quentin. You get what I'm saying? You see where I'm getting at with Quentin? It's just like, I don't want the guy to have to go through 5 years of chasing the caricature of Quentin. Instead of just judging Quentin based on who's on stage with him. I agree. Because what's going to happen is he's going to be rewarded at the end of those 5 years, but then he can't go back and undo what he did to his physique to get there.
And I think that kind of would happen with Rami. And what happens for his troubles is we just critique the guy for all of the lumps and dents and shit on his body. And he's like, well, I did this for you guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because a lot of the stuff we're seeing nowadays in his physique, I think it comes from him being super depleted. Because when he came in fuller for the Arnold, some of those gaps closed. But he's only coming in depleted because that's what they said they wanted. They want him to be peeled, gnarly glutes, which I don't think that's his best look when he's his most gnarly. He already had lines in his glutes, even at New York. You know, he had more lines in his quads. He had better arms, better back. I think that's a more complete look. I also think in his era, I mean, we never seen anything like that. And at that time, Phil Heath was
that's my whole point. It's like he just entered that realm where it's like, what do we do with this? Like there was an Arnold, and I'm sure you guys have all seen it. I don't remember exactly what year it was. It was like the 2020 round. I think it was the year he eventually won the Olympia, as a matter of fact. It was a top 3 showdown with him, Dexter, and Bonak.
Yeah.
And it just shows you the difficulty in judging this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's as wide as both of them.
He was smaller than Arnold. He was smaller than Arnold too, because I remember Cito coached him for that Arnold. And I remember he was actually smaller. He was like 280 or something. That's what people were calling him, like medium Rami or whatever. And Dexter beat him. I think he came second, right? That Arnold. Dexter won. I remember that.
I think he got third. Yeah.
He got third.
Yeah.
I think was that the one. I think it was it Bonak, Dexter, then Rami, right?
Yeah. I think it was Bonak, Dexter, Rami. But when you see that image of the top 3 call out, it's shocking.
That was hard to justify because Rami was in shape, first of all, and he was so much bigger than them, bro. It was insane. So, but then
and that's what I'm saying.
But in the same year, he beats them at the Olympia. It makes it tough. I felt like this, right? When Rami came out, they're like, this guy can be Mr. Olympia. He has all the potential in the world. We want to make sure he gets a certain look before he gets the nod. I think they wanted to see 300-pound Rami look like Phil Heath as far as condition and detail, but nobody looks like Phil Heath as far as condition and detail. So I don't think that's fair.
I guess.
But do you guys also think it's like a? Do you think it's a subconscious thing too? Like we're looking at it now. We're looking at Rami as this is a previous Mr. Olympia. We're comparing him to these guys. But at that time frame, you know, Dexter was a Mr. Olympia. Bonak was already a runner-up at the Mr. Olympia at that point. Rami was the lowest placed guy. Do you guys feel like subconsciously that could have also affected things? Like, I know we always say, oh, they look at the bodies or whatnot, but these things come into play too. Do you guys feel like that kind of played a part too in something like this?
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, and I'm, again, judges are human beings, right?
Yeah.
And I think in a perfect world, we all want to never have been seen on stage before, and we just want to walk out there for the first time, and whatever you look like, right? But at the end of the day, you know, your previous performances matter, especially if you've been in front of similar judging panels. And when you're someone who has high-end potential, and there's been that one thing holding you back that we all feel you have more control over, such as conditioning, I can't deny that I do think subconsciously it does hold higher weight when you step out on stage if that's something you have not given that judging panel before. And I think that holds some guys back, and I think that Samson's going to be going through that too until he slays that demon himself. But it goes back to what you're saying. If you slay that demon and you win, but that version of it isn't better than what it was, what did you win outside of the title compared to the overall look? And that's the balance that you have to strike sometimes.
Yeah. If Samson comes in bone dry peeled, we don't actually know if he's gonna look better, like overall, right? We would love for him to just look exactly the same but shredded, but will that actually be the case? I don't believe it will, because that last show he did, and he was,
and listen, I'm inserting myself into this conversation at all, but go back to that conversation I had with my coach and my trainer. Like we knew that there's a balancing act for me just trying to come in and just be as hard as nails compared to having fullness. So
You were
it's
still the
more
hardest guy in the show, though.
Yeah,
That's what I was just going to say.
You're still the hardest guy in the whole show. So
Along
He
with
won the
Samson.
most shredded award.
Yeah, he did.
yeah, I mean, no doubt. But it's like I know I could have pulled harder.
your
and gotten
baseline is
harder,
different from
but
his.
but I don't think I would have looked better, right?
I agree.
So-
I
That's
agree.
exactly. Yeah.
There is a balancing act that you have to come to. Now, how far are you away from that balance? You know, from what we've seen from Samson to okay, now he's granted hard and he lost himself to okay, now damn it, you could do a little bit more than this. Okay, you got to find that little merger spot. You know what I mean? And like I said before, if you're in shape, that is the point where you can play with the final touches of your look. But you got to be in shape to kind of make that decision if you want to go for fullness or dryness or being super hard. You know,
And
you
that's
just
the
got to bring
question
it.
mark with him, man. Like nobody knows what he's doing. His coach didn't know what he was doing.
No.
Like we don't know. We can only sit here and speculate. All I know is he doesn't like to eat fish. So I mean, I know you eat
That's
fish,
about
Ron. Fish is magic. It works.
What about fish?
Fish is magic. Fucking white fish, right?
You know what? I love fish for a few different reasons. I mean, obviously, I think it holds flavor a little bit. I can't stand chicken at this point in my career. I can't.
I'm with you on
And
that one.
I feel like if I'm gonna eat something I'm not interested in, it better go down easy. And fish goes down super easy.
yeah.
So,
Super easy.
I mean, just
I
go ahead
agree.
and knock it out. But you looking at 10 ounces of chicken breast and you're not interested, that's a war.
That's
I
like
agree.
gagging with every fucking bite.
That's a war.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like the question mark with Samson is like, is it even possible? You know, is he eating no carbs and doing 2 hours of cardio? I don't know. Nobody does.
Mhm.
You know?
See,
so
It's physically possible, but is it mentally possible for him? Right? If that was
yeah.
you know.
And
But
we
you
can
know,
only
I
sit
think-
here and speculate unless we were
I
sitting in
think,
his
guys,
kitchen.
I think in fairness, we kind of got to pump the brakes and really look at this thing in like the big picture, right? So Samson arrived on the scene last year's Olympia and he got sixth,
Mhm.
right? And then the following Arnold Classic, he won, right? And then he came back around this year and he got third at the Olympia. So when we really take a real firm look at that, like there's a huge linear progression to what he's been doing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I just
For
think
sure.
that sometimes we all kind of get drawn into this right now kind of theater. But in all actuality, like I said, he's just checking different boxes. And maybe the last box is getting in condition. But like I said, he started with putting on the size that he needed. Then he kind of cultivated it. His conditioning, in my opinion, has been getting better. I think his stage presence is better. I just think we just kind of live in this realm of wanting everything right now. But when you look at the career arc of guys who actually become Mr. Olympia, it usually takes this course. I mean, Heidi was running around at third or fourth for 4 or 5
Shredded.
years.
Yeah.
Shredded. And judges were telling, and he just made very small improvements, got a little bit bigger, and then maybe he went a little bit too big the year he lost. Okay, so now he's kind of trying to find that little sweet spot, which I think he found at this past Arnold. And I just think that certain guys get criticized a little bit more because they have the high end potential. We want to see it. But like when you really look at what other guys have been doing, I mean, look at Derek. Derek's Mr. Olympia. But okay, let's merge his 212 history into this whole process.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's had quite a journey too. Because there was a time he couldn't get past Kamal and Clarita.
Mm-hmm.
And the knock on him was conditioning. You know what I mean? These things are a process. So it's like, I'm not going to say it's unfair to Samson because to whom much is given, much is expected. But I think when we kind of take back and really look at his career arc, it's been very linear, guys.
Ron is right. That's a really good point, actually.
He's right.
But it's like the better you get or the better you are, the more you get criticized, right? When Samson was getting, 6th place in Europe, nobody was saying, this guy needs to come in bigger, more conditioned. Nobody really gave a fuck. nobody talked about him, But it wasn't until he actually wins the Arnold that we're kind of like, oh man, you got to bring the condition.
No.
Which is true. Mm-hmm.
When he got 6th at the Olympia, you got to keep in mind, he got 6th at the Olympia before the Arnold, and that was kind of his moment because he had a very emotional reaction to it, which he should have, because going into it, he was attached to being top 10. And it just kind of goes to show you, like, you can have a mindset in 1 year of being happy to get top 10, and now you're having emotional outbursts and having to explain to your fans because you got runner-up. And it just shows you how fickle these situations can be. Yeah.
It was gonna be a process regardless. Let's say he never got with Milos and he got with Chris Aceto, and then Samson at 250 comes in peeled. Samson peeled at 250 still wouldn't have won the Arnold. He still needed the size eventually. So regardless of what came first, it was gonna be a process. If he got the conditioning first and then he put on the size slowly, it still would take some time.
Yeah.
But he did the other way where he put the size on first. Now he's trying to get the condition better. It might actually take less time this way if he does get peeled, but it was going to be a process anyway. So to some extent,
I think when we look at like Phil, his situation was a lot different because he hit his peak at a time where the champ was ready to ride off into the sunset on his own. And in my opinion, Phil probably deserved to win the Olympia the year before.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of one of those ceremonial things, like just, do your thing one more year.
Wait your turn.
Yeah, And then Jay went off into the sunset, and it was a naturally vacant, title. And I think now it's more of a situation where there is no dominant champion. And I think, like you said, the IFBE, I'm not saying they're searching out for a guy, but I do think that they're trying to find a look. I do believe they're trying to find a look because we went from Rami and now we went from the biggest guy to 212 guys.
Yeah.
So you got to see
it's a crazy swing, dude.
Big swing.
Yeah.
My only
what the hell's going on here? So, the whole thing is changing to a degree. It does kind of give you that belief that, hey, the judges are just judging what they see at that moment, which is all we can ask for. But as it relates to like their career arc, like guys like Samson and whatnot, they didn't have that nice opening that other guys had. You got to keep in mind, who else was a perennial champion and had a nice opening? Ronnie.
Yeah, it was vacant, completely vacant. Yeah.
Yates retired. He was gone. Okay. Everybody thought the guy was supposed to be Flex. Flex didn't step up. Ronnie walked through that door. And like I said before, everybody was chasing Ronnie's look for the next 8 years. And I just think that now, because I think Rami was probably the only active champ that kind of got beat in the fashion that he did. It threw things into disarray.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're defending champ, they'll at least give you runner-up as a consolation prize before they get you on down the street. They gave Rami 5th. Like, nah, bro, nah.
Show up in
my only caveat to all this argument, Ron, is he's got a McLaren in his garage, so he's okay. He could take it.
Some criticism.
Well, hey, you know what? I'd say Samson is really showing guys how much money is out there if they get up off their butt and compete some of these big shows. Because although he didn't win,
of nature,
like last year, although he didn't win the big one, I'm pretty sure he lapped the field in contest earnings.
Yeah, he probably earned the most last year.
Easily.
He had to.
Yeah.
Good, because that McLaren's going to break a lot.
It is.
Not a Toyota.
Well, so Hardy this year earned more than Derek did last year, right? Because Hardy got
easily.
Because he had what, $300,000 from
250.
Right?
Yeah.
Get 250 for second place.
Then he got
UK was 130.
So okay, wait. So he got 250 at the Olympia. Then he got what, three? Was it 300 or 400? No, I mean, at the Arnold, was it it was $400,000?
330. No, 330 this year. This year was 330.
Wait, I'm talking about the Arnold US.
Yeah.
Classic, yeah. 500
Arnold
next
Classic.
year, bro. 500 next year.
500 is next year.
No.
This year he got 330.
Oh, three. Oh, okay. He won the Arnold, and then he got an award. Did he get the most muscular and anything like that? Or no?
Yes, which is 10,000.
Yeah, I mean, but so basically you're looking at 250, 330, and 130 contest earnings for
That's a
hot.
lot.
So at least over $500,000.
What the fuck are income taxes like in Iran? There's a question for you. They're probably lower than here. Shit.
Probably no.
Yeah.
Well, but he'll get taxed here because he made the money here.
Here's my
Yeah.
question. Here's my question. When you win a show, do you pay the taxes for the area you won it or where you live?
Where you live. That's what
No,
I did.
believe
And
it's.
they accepted my
I was
tax
talking
return.
I was talking to Justin about this the other day, Compton. He was saying it's where you win it at because that's considered your workspace. So you want it there. Yeah,
Oops.
in the city or the state or whatever.
Well, so you got to
So
pay
you
taxes
pay
in
that
the
state
UK.
tax.
Man, you're not going home with 100 if you pay the UK, man. No way.
Maybe like 20.
Yeah.
Well,
At best.
well, yeah. He was also here on a work visa, right? So if he had a work visa doing work, you would have to pay taxes where you work. Yeah. That. So I mean, yeah, Hadi earned a lot of money. Samson earned a lot of money. I don't feel like Derek is concerned with money, but I mean, he's gonna make money regardless. You guys think Derek is gonna do the Arnold next year?
Nah, he said
Yes.
he's not going to do it.
If he
He's gonna
loses his title, yeah.
If he loses the title.
Oh, if he loses, yeah. If he loses, he's gonna do it. Yeah.
Well, I was watching the recent Cutler cast, and they were all on FIBO, and I guess Jay and Matt, the manager, spoke to him. He's not doing it, at least as of right now. If he loses, then different story.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's a lot of fucking money.
But
That's
Ron,
what I
Ron, it's also that question, right? We were just talking about that. They're looking for a champion. The Olympia's looking for a champion. Do you want to be that guy when the power vacuum has not been sealed to just go and do it on it? When it's
Someday, you know what?
Making the right choice.
You
He's
also
making the
gotta
right
keep in
choice.
mind, in previous years, it wasn't worth the risk because let's go back 2 years, right? It was 400 grand versus 130. It's easy to make that statement then.
Mhm.
But now you're talking about, because the Olympia has not officially improved the earnings yet, right? So you're talking about 400 grand versus $500,000?
But put it this way. Put it this way. 400 grand versus $500,000 and no shot at ever winning the title again. What are you going to pick?
You really think
Oh,
they'd punish him that bad for doing the Arnold?
You talk about something else. All right, I'll let it go.
I don't.
You think that they would take that as a slight? Really? Like,
I don't think
the
so.
best competitor.
I don't think it's going to be a slight, but if it's very close, which it is right now,
It's risky. It's very risky.
These things do matter. These things do matter.
I'll put it like this,
fucked up
Stu.
to think about, man.
I'll put it like this, Stu. I don't think it would have been a slight in years past, but now that it's 500,000, I don't know how to do it.
Especially Arnold is making a case against the Olympia. They're fighting them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So they're both corporate entities at this point.
But
I
mean, the people doing the judging are the IFBB. It's not Jake Wood. It's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not saying they don't have any input, right? But the IFBB is they are the judges and they have the final say in all this stuff.
Okay, but let's put that to the side. But him just dieting halfway through the year could potentially take away from his look. We haven't seen Derek do both shows, so there's a high chance that could, for sure, if you're gonna lower his rate of progress because he doesn't have as long as off season, but it could even fuck with his peak possibly. I don't think.
Have you ever seen him fat though?
No.
Watery maybe, but
also,
the dude's fucking shredded.
But Stu, has Derek competed more than once since his first pro win that he went
Never.
to Olympia?
He has
only competed once throughout his entire career.
It's not
pro.
It's not a matter. It's not a matter of getting his shape. So it's not about how fat or lean he's being in off season. It's a matter of how much he can progress. And if you're competing twice a year, you will progress less than once a year if the shows are that spread apart. If it's a couple weeks later.
But if you can do like a short prep, which if you're super lean year round, like you can do that. Maybe it's not optimal, but like you can do that.
I'm not talking about
12-week preps in the whole year. I mean, you still have, basically half the year for the off season.
Stu, I'm not talking about what he can do or what he can get away with. I'm talking about what would be the most optimal to him
for the Olympia. Yeah,
to making the most gains possible. Now, being a 2-time Olympia champ and a 3-time Arnold champ, 10 years from now is not the same as being a potentially a 5-time Olympia champ. I don't think that's the same thing. And the documentary Phil was like,
but again, it's $500,000.
Okay. Diapers are expensive, man. He just had a kid.
You're talking about you're talking about a show on the Arnold that in previous years that would have been 5 years worth of first places to surpass this amount. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about being able to knock that out in a short prep. I'm just saying it's not an easy decision.
No,
it's not an easy decision because it's a lot of money. But my battery's getting low, guys. You guys got any specific questions for me? I really enjoy being on here.
Oh, what time is it?
What else? What is he doing this year, Ron? Are you finished for now, or?
Yeah, I was really, really leaning heavy on doing the Cal for sure. But, I kind of got with my coach and we really, really honed in on the feedback that we got, which was mostly positive, and we just kind of want to set up everything for next year.
You're going to be there, though, right?
Yeah, you should be there.
I'll be in the house. Yeah, I'll be there.
All right.
Let's throw him on the live podcast. It's going to be like 10 guys.
Yeah, we're going to set that shit up in our hotel room. It's going to be a shit show.
Well, we can't fit. We're not gonna fit. Yeah,
I gotta warn you guys. If we actually do that at the hotel, like I fart like crazy when I'm peaking for shows. Just like all the food coming in, it's gross. So
clogging toilets.
It's nothing like
clogging toilets.
Toilet clogger.
That's gonna be bad. But Ron, thanks for coming on. We gotta have you back on again.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure, guys. I had a lot of fun.
Thank
you, Ron.
This was great.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, man.
Yeah. Ron was good, man. He great conversation.
Yeah,
I think he's somebody that's going to be good to. Oh, he's listening to us talking about him. Good conversation. So that's somebody that's going to be good to have on as my hosting skills go to shit. So,
take over the podcast for you.
Yeah, I've noticed because I haven't been on in the last like 3 or 4, and as the preps have gone, Stu has gone like this.
How am I doing today, guys? I was nose diving when I jumped on late.
I forget which one it was, but I was watching and Stu was just rolling his eyes the whole time. I was like, damn, what happened to this guy?
I'm trying.
Look at Joe's face though. Look at Joe's diet face coming in. Let me get a close up. Oh, okay. Look at that. Look
shredded.
At his face looks stressed as fuck. He looks stressed as hell.
It's insane how fast you get shredded, Joe. It's pretty fucking crazy to see.
Good fucking thing.
Yeah.
What you know what it is? It's like he's dieting the whole time. It's just the change is fast, right? It's not like he's dieting for 4 weeks. He's dieting for the 12 weeks, but it looks like he looks the same. And then 1 week he just looks different, right?
Like, oh, your glutes are in. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, his glutes are in, which is crazy.
Glutes are in.
How much more you feel like you have left, or how does Compton feel like you have left to drop?
He says I'm probably gonna fall around 245. I'm 260 right now. This morning.
Okay, well,
yeah, you're like glutes and hams. Same with Paul, actually. Your glutes and hams, both of you, are like pretty close to in. And then you've got like lower back fat. That's where you have both of you.
I'm saying it right now.
Say it.
I'm saying it right now, Joe. I don't know if anyone's gonna touch you in the side chest, man.
Fuck no.
They
won't. Side try too.
Yeah. I don't know what you did with your hamstrings this off season coming in, but dude, your side chest and your side try right now, they're some of the best I've seen at this stage. You know, going into the show, people are going to be surprised.
Paul used to tell me, he's like, Joe, we don't train hamstrings enough. We don't. I'm like, dog, you talking about yourself. I do just fine.
Paul got good hams though. Paul got a good ham drop on the side. He got good side.
No, Paul is like the worst critic for himself. I'm like, dog, I know what I see, and I'm like, you're just like nitpicking yourself. Like you're growing, you just don't see it the way I do. Like I don't think anybody sees their progression as they're progressing. It's always going to take someone else's eyes. But it's like, you know, when people talk about my hamstrings, I took away my hammy day ever since I won the California in 22, and my back got wider, my hammy drop got thicker and stuff, and I just train them with quads now, so I just have a leg day. But it gave me an extra rest day and stuff. I don't do RDLs anymore. I haven't done them in a long time, but I haven't needed to. So literally, I just do 2 hamstring movements and then full range of motion, real deep on my squats and my leg presses. That's all I do.
What I do too now, actually. I don't do any deadlifting or RDLs or anything now.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you go deep on your squats and stuff. Like you're gonna get a lot of glute activation. You're gonna really stress the hammy at the bottom portion of the movement, and then like to really build that thickness, you just need to curl it. It's like a bicep. You curl your bicep. That's how you grow your biceps, right? It's the bicep of the leg. So I always tell people a seated and aligned hamstring curl is all you really need, as long as you do it right. If you can actually feel the muscle work and not like throw it into your glutes as you're doing the movements, because a lot of people fuck up and use their glutes to pull their hammies. You shouldn't need much.
Yeah.
More's not always better. I think 4 to 5 movements on any body part, if you're doing it right with enough intensity, you're gonna get the most out of your body.
Man, I used to do fucking 6 to 8 exercises, and I would barely connect and barely get a pump. Now I could do 3, 4 exercises, and I'm fully pumped, fully connected. You know, it's not how much you do, it's how well you do it. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
execution,
quality over quantity always wins. Like I'd rather you do one set where you're all in, fully contracting, taking it to failure, and then walking away, compared to 5 sets of useless movement.
I agree.
I really believe in that.
Sometimes it takes some time and experience to be able to feel stuff, you know. So that's why early on guys maybe do more volume, you know, but maybe you should still focus on trying to perfect the sets even back then, you know. At one point I didn't feel like I could get enough from that little bit of sets, but you know, you're the training, you just get better at what you're doing, I guess. It's like anything else, the experience you get.
I truly believe if you know your body and you go by feel, like okay, for example, Paul will always ask me, hey Joe, are you gonna stop here? Or are you gonna do another set here? Or are you gonna go heavier? I'm like, right now I'm about to make this a working set, but if everything's moving smooth, I'll either do it one more time or I may even go up heavier and then just take it there. Like, but I don't know until I do it. Like I have a blueprint in my mind of what exercises I'm gonna do, but I have no idea how many warm-up sets it's going to take. I don't know how strong I'm going to be. I go by what my body allows, and I just do it to the most intense, like, output that I can. That's it. Like, I put up a T-bar row, right? I had no intention on doing 20 reps with 6 plates at all. But in that moment, everything stayed, like, tight. Everything was firing. I was still able to kind of breathe through it. I'm like, dude, you know, like, I could cut the set short and stop at 10 and do another set, but I'm like, if I'm already in it and I'm all in, I'm locked into this, I'm going to do this and walk away. This is going to kill me, but I'm going to take it to that point where I'm like, I don't want to do it again because I physically can't. So within that moment, I'm making that decision based on what the hell is happening in my body.
Exactly.
So that's how I dictate my training.
It could happen both ways. My last leg day, you know, I'm doing front squats and I go up to 3. My goal was to go up to 4, but I'm like, this feels horrible. So after, you know, I made 3 my working set, then I just left front squats altogether. I'm like, I'm just not feeling it. So that was the game plan, but You have to go by feel. What would be the point of me going up to 4 if I'm not feeling it? If my shoulders hurt, everything is not firing. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do something else. And
I
that
kind of feel
sometimes
lazy when I do that nowadays. It's like I'm
Yeah.
still kind of somewhat mentally attached. Like I have to do this movement and I have to do it
Yeah.
with this weight. I'm getting better at it, but it's like
It's
like
hard.
when I stopped deadlifting, I was like, man, am I just not deadlifting because I'm a lazy piece of shit now? Because that's really hard. Deadlifting's hard. That's why I liked it. And now
Very much.
I think like everything's progressed since I dropped them, but like still mentally, I'm like, kind of miss it.
That happened for me for bench press. It happened to me for deadlift. I still deadlift, but not as often. Even for squats, it's hard because you're like, am I being a bitch or am I making the right choice? And honestly, I think usually we're not lazy people, like us, all of us here. So for us,
I'm
I think
pretty lazy, dude. Right now, I'm lazy as fuck.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was
the
up for
best
like an
rocket-
hour and a half this morning before I actually left to do my cardio. I was just like, I didn't want to get off the sofa, man.
well,
I-
not,
Because there's no fat on you. You're not lazy.
Yeah,
Easy
bro.
because
Yeah.
you peeled
Fuck
man.
this
I-
fuck.
right, that's how it gets, right? But I still felt lazy.
Yeah.
well, like in the gym, I feel like we're people who know we can train hard. If everything is clicking. So if it's not clicking, I think it's a smart thing. I don't think it's a smart thing to do it anyways. Whereas we all did that at one point, and it's a good mindset to have to a certain point. But you have to get to a certain point. You have to realize, but you're not getting any extra points for doing something that your body can't recover from. Which
Caveat, though, at the end of prep, nothing clicks. You just feel like
Yeah.
shit all the time. Your
Yeah.
training sessions are mostly shit.
nothing.
That's just normal, Nothing's gonna
That's
click.
normal.
You still need to go and do it, though.
But
100%.
I think at a competitive level, though, it's like, okay, if you made it this far, right, there's a reason you made it this far. So it's not a work ethic thing. It's like, what's going to make the most sense for the most efficient progress? So, like I said, I took a training day out. I took my hammy specific day out, and I found a way to implement more recovery. I didn't do that because I don't want to train. It's because I'm like, okay, will it benefit me? What's going to benefit me? And that's what matters
Yeah.
more than anything. Not because I
Yeah.
don't want to do it. That's it.
Well, there was a time that if I couldn't squat 6 plates for the entire prep, I felt like I was being a failure, right? Like I wasn't training hard enough. But I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like at that point it was doing more negative than good because I was completely taxing my nervous system, but my quads weren't like 100% stimulated, right? I'm getting a lot of quad, but I'm also getting way more fatigue than I am quads. And so now if I did that and my legs were fucking like Zades, then I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna keep doing it. But then I'm like, no, it doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to do. So I gotta do a different way. I have to do the hack squats, which is what I'll do now, or the pendulum squats or something like that. So it sometimes you have to be smarter to be a better bodybuilder, and more isn't always better. This is coming from us, though. A lot of people watching, you probably just need to go harder, if I'm being honest. But now, some of us need to teach us, like Stu just said, we have to almost teach ourselves, reprogram ourselves to be like, it's okay. I'm not being a bitch. I'm just doing the smarter thing, right? And it's gonna actually make me look better, which is kind of hard to. Same way Stu would love to walk in the gym and go straight to squats, but if he does that, his knees are gonna fucking run
My
away from it.
kneecap is going to shoot across the room about Mach 1. That's what'll happen.
Exactly.
Nowadays.
And it's hard to come to terms with that I can't just walk into the gym and go squat. I got to do extensions and I got to
Dude,
do
it's
leg
so
press.
boring. Oh my god! It's like I wish I was 21 again. Just
Oh,
slinging
man.
shit around, nothing to lose.
And we're not even that old, bro. But it
Oh,
feels
we're
like
not. It's gonna get so much worse. Oh my god, so much worse.
Yes, it does.
Oh, Paul knows.
oh man, but that's what pisses me off, though.
We went to a whole other gym on Fridays for Paul. We really
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Because it feels good on his knees and his hips.
Yeah.
We'll go to another gym Friday.
Yeah, but
You know,
that pisses me off.
talking about the getting the idea of like lifting heavier weight too. Like fuck, dude. This past Friday, everything was firing. My knees weren't hurting. My hips weren't hurting. and I was going pretty decently heavy. And I kept looking at Joe. I'm like, man, fuck, I want more. Joe's like, don't do it. Like, you're firing. Like, everything's working. Like, you're not hurting. Like, why do you want to do it? Psychologically, I want more. I fucking could push more. You know what I mean? But I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I kept it where we were.
Take some
But
painkillers beforehand or something.
no, bro, it's just the different angles of the machines we're using. They're just, it's working.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Even when Paul hurt his shoulder, I'm watching him still go heavy, and I'm like, damn, it makes me a little nervous. I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of heavy, bro. You can shoulder injury and shit. But
No,
I mean, listen, it got to be something in yourself that you have to kind of know where to put. It's hard, bro. It's hard to turn it down when you've always been that way. You know, me taking out bench press was such a big deal. Now in hindsight, I'm like, yo, bench press, I didn't even feel my chest, but I was just doing it because I felt like I had to. You know, even now on incline barbell, my shoulders are fucking wrecked. And I'm like, am I going to have to take away incline fucking barbell? Like, I feel like an old man. I'm fucking 31. Why is this happening? It is what it is. It comes to some people, it might happen at 27. It might happen at 40, but it is what it is. If I continue to do it and wreck my shoulders, I'm going to get to a point where I can't even train shoulders and chest. And nobody wants that. So you got to do the lesser evil. I'm going to have to do dumbbells. I'm going to have to do hammer strength. I'm going to have to. Does it suck? Sure. But the truth is, nobody gives a fuck. It is, can you bring the physique on stage? Nobody's watching my Instagram like, oh, Beatty's not doing incline. He's a pussy. Nobody gives a fuck. You know? So you got to come to terms with it. Like Nick stopped doing RDLs. He loves it, but he tore his hamstring, twice now? He's like, I'm not even going to risk it. Fuck it. You know, his hamstrings will be fine. Trust me, the hamstrings will be fine without RDLs. But you gotta make those hard choices.
You don't believe if you stop a certain movement, you might lose that thickness in that area?
There's other ways.
Well, what I will say is, since I stopped deadlifting last year, I've been comparing pictures, like especially my back double. Like, I think my waist has actually gotten smaller. I don't know if it's because I stopped deadlifting or whether like my lats are wider now, but like the whole pose just is more tapery. I don't know how to put it. It doesn't look quite as dense, but maybe that's just because it's spread out more. I don't know.
Maybe.
I get what you're saying. It's like there's a thickness that comes with deadlifting, but it goes everywhere. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really help a physique in general. So I get what you're saying.
If I don't squat, my quads don't look very round. I mean, maybe that's not accurate, but for me personally, when I squat with a barbell or hack squat, the next week my legs are very round.
Oh well, yeah.
So for shows, I always had to mentally like make sure I squat, make sure I hack squat the last leg day, just to keep that roundness in my legs. So if I don't do that, I would at least feel that my legs are not as round as they could have been.
No, I think that's you have to do a squat variation.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah,
don't take the squats out.
We're not talking about. Yeah, we're not talking about. Right. We're just talking about. There's no one exercise that you have to do to grow, but you got to have a variation of squat. It doesn't have to be back squat, but if it's hack squat, pendulum squat, machine squat, you should be squatting. You know, just not. I feel like people feel like if you don't barbell squat in particular, you won't get big legs, and I don't believe that's true at all. You know what I'm saying? Or if you have to barbell deadlift. Well, you could do whether it's Smith machine deadlifts or rack pulls or even weighted hyper. I see Nick Walker does weighted hypers, shit like that.
Those are kind of gay, though. I mean, deadlifting's cool as fuck. So
there's like ways around it, you know. But like some form of squat, yeah, I definitely agree. You should be. I don't think you should do extensions, leg press, fucking, and walk out the gym. I feel like you definitely should do some form of squat. Whatever you connect best with. That's it. So if you're gonna say, well, I connect the best with barbell squats, then yeah, don't take. Why would you take it out? You know. So if you're saying when I barbell squat, my legs stay fuller, then that means you should be barbell squatting. But that doesn't mean every one of us should be barbell squatting because your quads are fuller on it, right? I think that's the difference. So if Stu says when I deadlift my back is thicker, then cool. Then maybe you should deadlift if you feel like your back looks better. But that's only that one person with that one exercise. It's not across the board. It's like the way Ronnie would do T-bar rows, deadlift, barbell. Everybody started doing that, but everybody back was shit besides Ronnie. And it's like, well, maybe don't do what works for Ronnie. Do what works for you. I think that's the take home test. You know what I'm saying? So barbell squats for me, I get really strong on it. My glutes, adductors maybe get the most out of it, but my quads weren't improving from year to year the way I wanted to, you know, if that makes sense. You know, so yeah, that's the take home. We're all gonna have Branch like incline, Ronnie like flat, Nick Walker like dumbbells, Jay Cutler like hammer strength. Everybody found what they felt their chest the most, and then you got to run with it. You got to run with it.
Did Phil even really deadlift later in his career? Because his lower back was pretty solid.
When Phil stopped deadlift,
saw him. Yeah, I don't even think he even did hyperextensions, or maybe we just didn't see the footage of it. But I always find that interesting. You know,
his back got bigger when he stopped.
Exception. Well, no matter what Phil did, it's gonna work.
You know? See, that's kind of true. Yeah.
True.
But for back, I don't know for back because he didn't have a good back. He built the back from scratch. When he actually was deadlifting in his first video, he didn't have a back. He actually got more of a back later on when he stopped deadlifting. I'm not saying there's a direct correlation to the deadlift, you know, because I don't know if that's true, but I think he just started connecting better. He was because what his workout was basically he was doing what everybody else did: pull-ups, deadlift, dumbbell rows, barbell rows, right? That was his thing. I think until he found what worked for him, like kind of what we talked about, which for him seemed to be some hammer strength machines, some pull downs, you know, some seated rows. That's when his back took off because that's what worked for him. Whereas when he was doing the Ronnie Coleman back workout, his back didn't really change. You know what I'm saying? But Phil was destined for greatness, regardless.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same with Zay's quads. I think your quads will be okay no matter what you do. You know.
Yeah.
All right,
I get terrified if I don't squat, man. I have a little devil in my head.
Yeah,
so it's like it must happen, you know.
We got anything to talk about besides the? I know Patrick Tor and Milos got into it. Is that video up yet?
About what?
I don't think
Milos seems to think he coached Patrick at some point.
Look, it's up now. Why is
it always Milos, man? Like, can we just leave that guy alone?
He's a good guy, man.
He's such a good guy. Like, why people don't want to respect him? You know, like, come on.
But like, okay. If here's the thing, I think Milos is an awesome guy, but I think the reason why does this keep happening to Milos? Why is it always Milos that people say no, he didn't coach me? I think that's what he has to change. I think he's too good of a guy. Because he keeps giving people all this free information, and they're like, "Thank you for the free information, peace." And he's like, "I coached you," but you can't really tell somebody what they followed. Only I know what I followed. But then why keep asking people for information and then not give them credit? So that's kind of weird. I think it's both weird, you know. Whereas for him, if he doesn't want this to happen, he's gonna start having to charge people. Charge a motherfucker $5,000 if he doesn't want to give you credit. I don't care. You paid me $5,000, so I don't need the credit. But when you help people out for free and they don't give you credit, if you get pissed off, at some point you got to stop helping people out for free, right? I mean, right?
I approached him, dude. He asked me for 5,000. I didn't have the 5,000, so he didn't.
Well, that's fair. That's fair,
Should
right?
have been a better bodybuilder, Zade.
Yeah.
So I feel like some of this stuff too, Beatty, is, you know, we're looking at it now, but a lot of this stuff also is from the past, right? So Milos has been doing this since when he was actually competing. He was helping guys that he was competing against, you know, and now we're just seeing it now with, you know, the newer crop of competitors and what's necessarily happening. So all this stuff is coming to light. But I feel like Milos' philosophy, and I think he said it before, is like, if you have the information, why hide the information? I don't think I think we're all knowing Milos is not really interested in money. Like, of course, he needs money to survive, but I don't think that's his motivation. I don't think it's his motivation, dude.
It's not motivation.
You know, if not, he would be selling programs all over the place. Like, he coaches a lot of these pros for free, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, see,
So,
you can never fault somebody for being a good person and giving free information. So
yeah.
we can't fault him for that. My only thing is that if you want the credit, you have to understand that that person doesn't have to give you the credit. If I'm saying that, yes, you gave me information, but I didn't use it, that's what Patrick is saying. I didn't follow the information. I know it, and I have it in my back pocket, but you're the one that gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say, no, you have to give me credit. I don't. You know, is it morally sound to do that? I don't think so. I think they should give him credit, but they don't have to at the same time. So the way to get rid of that is stop giving people free information. I know you're a nice guy and you want to, but if you also want that, because it seems like he wants the credit back, but he's not getting it. So this seems to be a normal problem. So something has to change, right?
It's like saying, Beatty, good example, right? And I completely agree with you, by the way. We're not arguing. I actually agree with you. But it's like saying,
We're not arguing.
Yeah, we're not arguing. It's like saying when Flex Wheeler, right? When Flex Wheeler told Ronnie what he had to do to win. And Ronnie, you know, Flex comes up with that story, and Ronnie's like, that never happened. Flex
yeah. You're like, what?
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I mean, what do you gain by denying if it actually really happened? You don't gain anything. Like it just questions your character. I don't know the story, but between the two of them, I'm just saying from what I've seen, like if these things really did happen and you're not giving the guy his credit after he actually did you a service of kindness, it's a character flaw. It's
for sure. Oh no,
of that particular person. You know.
I mean that I gotta agree with that 100%. I think Patrick is in the wrong when it comes to that character. Like, you know, I guess I don't know him personally, but that's a weird character thing to do. And he didn't even say. It would be one thing if Milos brought up, he said, "Oh yeah, I remember that, Milos," but I didn't actually follow that, so I don't know if I would consider that coaching. He said, "You must have me confused with the wrong guy." Like, well, damn, that's an extreme thing. Oh no, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. That's just overboard. And then Milos confronts you like, no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this happened. It's like, well, why didn't you say that? You know what I'm saying? So also, Milos is 60. Patrick is in his 50s, I believe. I think this could be handled off social media, if I'm being honest. I think we could just talk to each other in private.
Then we'd have nothing to talk about, dude.
That's true.
I don't really want to see 60-year-old men yell at each other on a podcast. I got to be honest. There's a debate like we do here. We debate, but if it got personal, that I'm like cursing at Ken and he's cursing at me, I'm sorry. That's too much, bro. You know, I don't know. I feel like that's something we got to handle in person.
I do like the fact that the Menace podcast, if you go on there and you say some wild stuff, they will check you right there.
Yo, y'all seen Silvio on that one?
Oh no.
Yo, didn't he beat his wife?
I mean, I don't know.
Silvio Samuel, right?
I don't know. I don't know about you. but what I do know is on about.
That's all I know about that guy.
You see Stu?
That's like he got like crazy round muscle bellies, and I think he beat his wife. That's all I know about him.
Well,
I heard he won a gold medal. That's what I heard.
That's what he said. He said he did the Olympics and he won a gold medal. And then a DJ was like, hold on. What year? He Googled it. He's like, motherfucker, we not doing that. What are you gonna say? I mean, I think we would all know if you won a gold medal. I know Silvio personally. I actually like Silvio, but
I see him every morning, dude.
Me too, yeah.
He's the nicest guy.
I'm not gonna bullshit.
He was lying like that. Sorry.
Listen, man. If Stu gets on here and tells a bull-faced lie, whether I call him out on air or not, I'm still gonna call him out, whether it's private or public. You know, it is what it is. if you bull-faced lie, I'm not gonna bother to be like, yeah, you're right.
But you didn't call me out just now when I said what I said there. So
about Silvio?
Yeah,
it's funny. He's actually.
I don't know the detail. I don't know the details about that case.
All right.
He used to be Nigerian. I don't know about now.
Yeah, At one point, he was Nigerian. There's no telling what Silvio is at this point.
He is Nigerian, Yeah, I'm looking at a news article.
Nigerian or Jamaican?
No, he's Nigerian.
He-
He spoke 10 languages. I don't know how much languages he speaks now, but he spoke a bunch of languages at one point. I know he does speak Spanish. I could vouch for that because he trained a lot of the Spanish women. I see him communicating with them. But the other languages, that's up for debate.
I won't share what I'm reading here. Why don't y'all just Google shit if you want to see?
Uh-oh. Well,
2009 he was so round.
it was
Reminds me,
stupid.
like, he could stand with Phil Heath in the most muscular.
I think so.
He was actually a good bodybuilder. He was actually a good bodybuilder
Yeah.
when he first came on scene. Yeah.
I mean, I would say he was very underrated. He was a bit older. He was a bit older. I don't think that plays maybe in your favor as much. And he wasn't very political. He didn't play the politics very well. Not in like a bad way. Not kissing ass, but he just didn't give a fuck. When he had lost that one show, and then he was like, "You fucking blind" at the judges. He's like, "That's not gonna help."
That's an Arnold classic. Yeah.
That's not gonna help you placings, obviously. But he didn't give a fuck, and in some way that I respect that. But when you're a pro athlete, it kind of comes to territory. You know what I'm saying? You definitely don't want to do that. The roundness and fullness and condition was next level. Next level. The quads looked fake, and it wasn't fake. It was striated, but it looked fake. That's how crazy his squat sweep was. You know, but
Yeah. And today he'll be a top 10 guy for sure. I have no question.
oh yeah, I mean, I might go further than that. I would say probably top 6 guy. It's hard to make comparisons, but he was really good. Wait, what was his highest Olympia placing? Did he do the Olympia?
I don't know. That's not what I'm reading about.
Oh boy. Well, he's a free man right now. So I don't know.
Yeah, he is. That's wild.
We gotta talk about it off air because I'm kind of interested. But I never looked into it.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, we'll look that over, okay?
I just took his word on that, but you gotta be careful with the word. All right. If we talk about the Milos Patrick situation, I didn't watch the podcast, so I guess I can't comment on it.
Hey, I got a question for you guys, for Joe and Paul, since y'all are prepping too. Have you gotten to the point where like shit feels like creaky and like shitty in the gym, or are you still feeling decent training?
No, I feel pretty decent still.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
But look, what you're feeling, Stu, is what I felt last year when I was getting ready for USA's, but I was ready really early. So
Yeah.
my conditioning at 6 weeks out is better than what I am right now at 5. So it comes with that territory of leanness. But I felt
yesterday was like the first day I felt like, oh yeah, things are like not jiving quite how they usually do.
Yeah.
You get body work done too?
I have been not that consistently. I had a couple of conflicts with the appointments, but I need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Body work?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys actually do that?
Yeah, hell yeah. Once a week.
My actual
I need to stay healthy.
my training last year really, really had to change because like Stu's feeling, because I had to get lean so early, like that fatigue that sets in, and then that brittleness in your body, and you have to carry that all the way through and try to like keep your muscles as full as possible. So you have to kind of be really smart with how you approach it, because going heavy is almost out of the question when you start feeling like that. You just have to be really good at tapping into feeling.
Yeah, you have to like still train as heavy as you can, but with like immaculate control. Like there's no bouncers, no nothing. Yeah,
it's literally like like the eccentrics are just as slow as the concentrics. It's more feeling the weight move compared to you just moving the weight at a certain point. So
not a fan of it, but
no, but it honestly
works.
helps. Yeah, it keeps your muscles full and round looking as much as round as they can actually be at this point. But
yeah,
I had to do that last year.
Yeah,
but Paul. Sorry, question for Paul. You do body work every week. Do you guys feel like that kind of affects your training sometimes? Like I don't do it every week because I feel like the body parts that they focus on, every time I do it, I can't train that body part for like 2 days straight.
Well, when I do it, like I'll do I'll do like, for instance, 1 week I'll do like an upper body, 45 minutes and like 15 minutes of lower body. And then next week I'll switch. I'll do 45 legs and 15 upper, just touch it. So it's always something being done
Simultaneously.
opposite weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That should be what I will say. The more often you do it, the less it hurts you. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Well,
That's
yeah.
the
I mean,
recovery-
if you're
recovery
sitting
time.
there trying to like catch up on a bunch of like postponed maintenance on your body when you start
Fucks
a
you up.
prep, like that's what I'm doing. Like I don't get it done in the off season because I'm cheap, basically. And like, you know, now there's all this, you know, deferred maintenance that I need to get done and like learn how to move again. I only just recently figured out how to hit a side try again. That's good.
Well,
Yeah.
I do like your Dorian variant, though. That Dorian variant, I think you should keep it.
Should
okay,
I?
nice.
I
Yeah, that was
have
good.
trouble flexing my glute on that. Do you think I need to? Because like Hunter hits it like that, and he doesn't flex his glute.
Yeah,
You
but
don't. You don't need to.
He does. You don't need to, as long as your leg shows the splits, like your hamstring
Yeah.
or your quad, it's clearly separated. I don't think you need to because it looks good on your physique.
You know who did that really well and actually did flex his glute was Ian. Like he would like do the like sandwich his hamstring together with his back leg really good and flex his glute. I've tried to do that and I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out.
I
I
think
would-
I touched something.
If you get a chance, I would ask Steve or Tyler, just because you're gonna be at that New York,
Yeah.
just to see. But like, hey, Steve, Dorian variation or regular? That don't matter.
Yeah, he's gonna say.
That don't matter. He's mad chill. He just be chilling. You're like, no,
Yeah.
you good. He just,
I
and he
remember
just
I
says,
asked Justin that. I asked Justin about that myself because I do the Dorian variation, and he told me I'm one of the only people that he would let do that
Yeah,
you have a
because
thick
he
chest.
doesn't like that. He doesn't like that on most people.
Joe,
it
when you
looks
have a
really good
chest
on
as
you.
thick as yours, man, you can do anything you want from the side. You do it.
That,
Yeah.
that crazy
Yeah.
fucking hammy drop he has too.
Yeah, it's one of the things. His chest takes up like his entire upper body. It's kind of crazy.
It's like half your torso. Yeah.
Yeah. he was doing the shoulder press, and I'm standing behind him, and I could see his chest from behind him like this, and I'm like, and I went on. I was like, Compton, can you see my chest? He's like, nah, nah, I don't see your chest, bro. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? It's all good. It happens. All right, you guys ready for questions?
Yeah, bring him.
Mhm.
We covered everything, right? I think so.
No, they're
Yeah,
good
oh,
for the next 2
Pittsburgh,
weeks.
they're new guest posers, but I don't think it matters.
Oh, guest posing. It's less important than Pittsburgh, but I'm doing a guest posing next weekend at the Emerald Cup again, just like last year. Which
That's a good show.
it's a good ass show. The
Yeah.
promoters are awesome. I got a bunch of friends coming into town. It's gonna be fun. Looking forward to
Yeah.
that.
Stu, get someone to
Document.
do YouTube for you. Yeah, to document. it.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
would.
sure.
I would like to watch that. I would
Me
like to
too.
watch that.
I
Do
don't
it for
really
me.
give a shit about that right now though,
Trust
because
me.
I'm
Yeah.
tired.
yeah. No, I know. What
Tell
you
your
mean.
girlfriend or someone. Just tell your girlfriend or pay someone. Couple, and just tell them to do it. Like, trust me. I mean, think about it. So this is the beginning of your career, like trajectory going up. Like, there's going to be a point where you're in the Olympia every single time, and you're going to wish you had these things. Like,
Yeah, that's why I want to move to Texas,
know.
man. Honestly, like, because there's so many more people there and videographers and
Yeah.
stuff to like just it'll be more natural to do that because I'm the only guy here, I'm not like,
Yeah.
Joe and Paul, they get their training partners, they see each other, like, video all the time. It's like doing it all yourself is a bitch. I'll admit it, I'm just too lazy to do it right now.
I get you.
Yeah.
Me and Paul tried
Man,
to do
I
it by
get you.
ourselves at first. Remember, Paul bought a fucking
Yeah.
camera for it. We tried it a couple times. We're like, man, we literally just didn't even talk about it. It was like a mutual agreement that was unspoken. We just stopped doing it. And then we got accepted.
Like we suck at this.
Yeah, this is stupid.
It's hard, bro. I mean, pretty much every single prep, I'm like, this prep, I'm gonna document the whole thing. Yeah, okay. Once you get like 6 weeks out, you're like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck this shit. Hey, like it happens everything. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And nobody cares. Like I don't even care. I just want to fucking get home and eat. Like I don't give a fuck about this shit. So yeah, it's hard to. It's almost impossible to do by yourself, even if you think you can do it. Unless you have a guy just a fly on the wall doing it, you're not gonna turn on the camera. When you get home and you're hungry and tired as fuck, you're not about to be like, "Hey guys," like, nah, fuck all that. You about to, you know?
I was deluded enough to think I'd do that this year, and no, no.
Yeah.
But I
I
mean,
mean-
fortunately, like Gasp is going to be at the New York, so they'll be recording some of that, which will be good. And they're obviously out of Dallas, so when I move down there, it'll be able to do shit with them.
Oh yeah. All right. Question time. Has gear made y'all dumber? I think we answered that already.
As what?
What do you
Has-
think? Do we seem stupid?
Has gear made y'all dumber? Has it made you dumber? I don't know. I don't know if it's the gear, but I don't feel as smart as I was. If I'm being
That
honest.
means yes. That means yes. I think it's yes across the board.
I think as much as anything, it's like you're in two modes most of the time. You're either dieting hard and you can't think straight, or you're in the off season and you're forcing food and you can't think straight because all the blood's in your stomach, your blood sugar's through the roof all the time, and you're just like, ugh, And then there's like this sweet spot from like 8 weeks out to like 4 or 5 weeks out where you're like mentally clear and driven and motivated, and then the rest of the year is just shit.
Amen.
Good way to put
That's
it.
true.
Yeah, you're so hyper focused that I mean, how smart can you be? Like, what are you going to be fucking studying biochemistry? Like, I mean, there's not much. You're just eating and working out for the most
Isn't
part.
that what Carlos does?
Yeah, I think so.
Carlos is
Carlos
actually
did
Yeah.
communications, I think. He did communications, but he worked for
Communications?
university.
Oh, he
has a master's.
got a master's though, right? I thought
Yeah,
he
he
worked
has
in a
a
lab or something.
He does, but I think in
I
the
think so. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
I'm not sure it's communications. Communications is like a bullshit degree that sorority girls get.
no. I mean like the department he works in the lab.
Oh, okay.
They handle like yeah. But on that point, I do think me personally, just in my personal experience, I think it's made me dumber. I just feel like I don't recall things as quickly as I used
Yeah.
to. Like I could read something and it takes me 2 or 3 times till it actually registered. Before it's like clockwork. I could get that just like that, So
It all
yes.
it also makes me uninterested, and sometimes I almost feel bad about it. I'm like, yo, should I just do shit just to do it? And then I'm like, nah, fuck it. I was supposed to go out last night, and then I canceled last minute. I'm like, yo, I don't want to. Like, there's a really small part of me that's like, maybe that would be nice, but I'm like, yo, honestly, fuck it, I'm not doing it. I just don't. I can't be bothered.
Let's
Yeah,
That's because you're deep in prep.
He's not
Well,
deep in prep.
I'm not deep yet.
I saw his last post, bro. He's like
Please.
297. He's not deep yet.
For him, it is
Like
deep.
sticking his toes in the water.
but we all have that mental switch, right? Because I feel like it wasn't even like a month ago. I was going out. I don't want to say regularly, but I was going out. I wasn't like eating junk food, but I was going out, hanging out and shit. And then now I'm like, I'm so uninterested. I don't want to. I barely want to even text people. I got to be honest with you. And then I'm like, is that? Huh?
You know what I think it is, Beatty? I think people don't take this into account. You say like, oh, bodybuilding, like, what are you doing? You're just eating and training. But dude, when you have to do that 6 times a day, you wake up to do your cardio, you still got to train later. You got to, depending on whatever your protocol is, right? You may have to do that once or twice a day. You just have to do your podcast or whatever. Dude, it's the whole fucking day. It's the whole day,
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that till I really got into it. You know what I mean? I thought, okay, yeah, I'm just training and do my training and go home, eat my 6 meals. Like, yeah, but it's not like that, man. It's literally your entire day. And if you have to leave that routine, like when I was moving this last week, like, dude, just the fact that I had to sacrifice like 4 or 5 hours to do that. And it's like, damn, how do I get my meals? Make sure I get all my meals on time and all that. And it seems like third world, like first world problems. But in your mind, it's like this is like the hardest. This is everything, you know,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be that way, but that's just how we're wired, you know, at this point, which sucks. It really sucks.
You know how many phone calls I just declined while sitting here on this podcast already, you know? And so imagine if I mean, my bodybuilding friends is different. You guys don't give a fuck. But if I have friends or family outside of bodybuilding, or even let's say somebody I'm dating, right? And it's like, yo, it's 3:00. You ain't texted me yet? No, you know, because if I wake up,
No, fuck off.
if I
Taking
if
a
I go to
shit.
bed, you know, if I wake up at 4, wake up, take a shit, get my meal ready, get my meal ready, and then I do the podcast. After I'm done, you think I'm still not about to go answer phone calls? I'm gonna go get my fucking meal in first, then get dressed, then maybe I might go through my texts and phone calls. But honestly, I probably won't until after my client, and then maybe after my workout. So I might not get back to you till 9 p.m. What does that look like? That looks like, that looks like you're either a shitty friend, a shitty brother, a shitty son, or a shitty dating interest. But the truth is that at some point, I'm like, yeah, I got to do better. Right now, I don't give a fuck. And it sounds rude, but I'm like, so what? I got goals
The
as
truth
well.
is,
So
you're all those things that you just said, and that's okay because nothing else matters.
you know, it's
Good job, Stu.
it's tough. Some parts of you wants to feel bad, but then you're like, that's no life to live to feel bad for doing what you want to do technically. So then I'm like, it is what it is. I'm gonna try my best, but I'm not gonna pressure myself to feel like I have to do anything at the end of the day. It is what it is. Am I an asshole for that? Maybe. I don't know. It depends who you
And
ask,
that
right?
and that right there speaks volumes about how selfish the sport is.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You know, now the son part, I think I could do a better job texting my mom and calling my mom. That's something I have to do better at because I have a lot of friends who don't have their mom.
Bro,
So
every opportunity I get, so you know, we eat 6 times a day, right? Every
Mhm.
time I'm home, I purposely eat my meal in the kitchen, and my mom walks in, and I have a conversation with her. I put my phone down, and even though I'm on prep and I don't feel the best, sometimes she just wants to speak because you never
Just
know. Like
talking.
your
Yeah.
parents get older, and it's like that time means the world to her. And one day I'm gonna look back, and that meant the world to me because even though
That's
I
it.
was in the best place, it's like, bro, you don't know that's gonna be the last conversation, you know?
No,
Also,
and mhm. Yeah,
I think too, Beatty, because I have the same sentiment that you do, and it plays me. But I also think like for us, there is also that cultural component that makes it a little bit harder. You know what I mean? Like you can text
Mhm.
your mom, like if I text with my mom, and you know, my mom and we have a good relationship, but like I can't really go in depth into detail about my life. You know what I mean? Like it's very
Yeah,
surface level. And
yeah. You
sometimes
can.
and sometimes
Mhm.
it's kind of like as much as I want to communicate, sometimes I just don't want to have surface level conversation, you know?
Yeah,
And I don't and maybe it's a problem with me, you know, maybe I need to work on that. But I just feel like that's part of what challenges that I have when it comes to just not reaching out all the time, you know?
question.
Yeah, well, I think what you should work on is trying to get past a surface level conversation because, like, yeah, I agree, those are stupid, and
Yeah.
you just don't have them when you're dieting because you just don't care
Yeah.
to, you know.
But there's one caveat of what Ken's, because you were talking about culturally. Do you speak English with your mom, or what language you speak with your
Oh
mom?
yeah, my mom speaks perfect English. Yeah.
Okay. My
Yeah,
mom
we're
speaks perfect English. Well, I ain't gonna say perfect. My mom speaks good English, but she doesn't want me to speak. She never lets me speak English with her. That
oh
makes it
wow, yeah.
tough
Yeah,
because
that's
I
different.
do speak my language, but let's be real. I haven't used this shit regularly in what 15 years. So it has to be surface level because how deep in depth can I go in like a different language? I don't speak very
Yeah.
regularly, right? So it makes it a little bit tougher. Yeah, I'll
It's
throw some
more
English in there, but you know,
but and speaking of that, it's more about like what you value versus culturally what they see as value, right?
yeah,
So like for you, right? Like your happiness of doing what you want to do is the first priority for you, right? Meanwhile,
yeah,
it may be different where it's like your professional success may be the priority, you know? And it's like there could be that disconnect where it's like, well, yeah, that matters to a point, but if I'm rich and I'm a doctor or whatever and I'm unhappy, why the fuck at that point I'm kind of losing out, you know what I mean? So there's already that disconnect when it comes to what you value. And it kind of creates problems when you really want to really go deeper into like deeper conversations. I don't know. Maybe I'm just spilling my guts out here, but
no, you're right. Like,
yeah. That's what this is for, baby.
Yeah. I mean, obviously being like a West African parent, they're gonna have different goals for you that don't always align with your own goals. And then when I call her to this day, she wants to know how my ex is doing. She doesn't even know that's my ex because I haven't been able to bring it up. You know, she thinks we're still together. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's hard to bring that up because we have to go into a whole different conversation, and then that's gonna go somewhere else.
It's gonna come into play too.
Yeah. And then, but by that point, I'm already ready to hang up the phone. Like, yo, I'm not here to talk about religion and marriage right now. I'm sorry, you know. So then you kind of get that disconnect. I get where she's coming from, but that's just not where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying?
You know what my mom does that it's funny to me at this point, but it's kind of annoying. Every time a bodybuilder dies, she'll see, for some reason, she gets the news headline. Like recently, there was this Portuguese guy who was on the forums. I don't know if you heard about this guy.
Heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, so like this guy was on like the professional muscle forums for years, and he was retarded. Like 3, 4, 5 gram cycles, insane dosages. And everyone was on there like telling him like, dude, you need to stop. You're gonna die. And he died, unsurprisingly. And my mom messages me like, hey, did you see this Portuguese guy who passed away? I was like, yeah, he was an idiot. Yeah, I saw that, Mom. Thanks.
Yeah.
But like every single time, you know, because she's worried about me. She thinks I'm a dumbass, right? But
Stu,
I guess,
Stu, have your parents seen you compete like in the flesh live?
Yeah, they actually they were at the USA's. That was the last
cool.
show that they actually watched.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
How about you?
I think they're gonna try to come to Vancouver this year.
Oh,
okay, very cool.
Hey, Ken, have your parents ever been to your shows?
The first time my mom saw me was New Jersey State before I went to North American. So that was the very first time. So it's only been once, and you know that was when I guess she realized that I was okay. Maybe this guy, you know, he's not just playing around at the gym. Maybe you know, you look at me, and then you look at the rest of the company, and you're like, okay, maybe my son's, you know, he knows what he's doing with this thing, and I think that's the first time since I started bodybuilding that it actually turned positive. Like it wasn't just like, oh, this is just his hobby, you know, it's never going to be something that he takes seriously. It was like, wow, okay, this is something that he can legitimately, you know, do. So
you kind of have to prove yourself. I've noticed a kind of shift since I got my pro card with my parents. Like they are a little more receptive to it. They're like, oh, okay, you're making a living off of this now. Okay, that's good.
Shit, that's exactly what we would do. My son, imagine my son, I want to be a bodybuilder. I'm like, oh my God, this motherfucker here. You know? I'm be like, well, what are you doing, bro? But now, you know, shit, even if he wins the USA, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, now are you a pro, I guess. Let's see what you're gonna do. It's gonna take me a while to come around, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, we might be harder on our kids than our parents are. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we're probably, if it comes to bodybuilding, we're probably gonna be even harder because we kind of saw what it entails first person, and we're gonna be like, yeah, you go play baseball. I don't know, do something. But this bodybuilding thing, I don't know about this, you know. So I feel like I know for a fact I'm probably gonna be super tough when it comes to that if I have kids because I wouldn't want.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because the amount of sacrifice that goes into it, even though we're cool with it at this point, I don't know if I would wish that upon my own kin. You know, I don't know. That's a lot of time and sacrifice.
That's why I admire Lee Labrada. You know, I feel like, yeah, he wasn't really receptive to it, but he was like, Hunter, nah, like, you know, you're not doing this. He's kind of always kind of just like nurtured that from the start, because especially if you've been a bodybuilder at a high level, you kind of know what it kind of takes to get there. I mean, look at the contrast. I mean, Sergio's been very vocal about, how Sergio Oliva Sr., how he felt about him doing bodybuilding versus how Lee Labrada felt about Hunter, So it's
He went
like,
too far. Sergio went
Yeah.
too far. Yeah.
yeah,
Went too far.
so it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, but I understand both sides. You know what I mean? I understand both sides. Like if my kid said he wanted to do bodybuilding, I'm gonna be like, maybe pick something else, But then if they're good, right? If they went
Yeah.
broke on, I'm like, okay, maybe you got
Well,
something here.
He definitely
Hunter
getting a
only
pro.
lost the Olympia and Texas Pro, yeah.
No,
Up
yeah.
until last year, before that, he never really lost any other show except the Olympia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but his amateur level, think about it, right? I think he came right out of college. Hunter came right out of college and said he was doing bodybuilding. Can you imagine from Lee's perspective, right? Maybe his son, I don't know, was going to take over Labrada Nutrition as like the CEO or some shit. Maybe he went for business or something. I don't know, and then you're like, I'm going straight into bodybuilding. Like, forget all this, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Zaid, what about you? Have your parents, like, how do your parents feel about bodybuilding?
I don't know if you know, but my dad passed away when I was 12, so I only have my mom. And my mom, honestly, after I turned pro, she wants me to quit. She wants me to focus my energy on something else that's not bodybuilding. Which is fucking crazy because after you prove yourself, after you show that you're worthy, and then it's not like the support I want to hear,
Yeah.
and my mom has never been to my shows. Also, she lives abroad, so all the shows that I've done are in the U.S. She wants me to stop, but I'm not fucking stopping.
You know what you got to do? You know what you got to do, Zaid?
Mm.
In 2 years, this your get big plan. In 2 years, you go to Dubai Pro, take that 100K, make sure she's there sitting in the audience.
I mean, that would definitely change my mind for sure. Maybe.
Hopefully, Zaid, you don't take that too personally because she's just going by the information she knows, the life she lived, and you could see why she would think that, right? She's very successful, right, Zaid? She's doing very well.
Yeah, exactly. But not only that, but she's also concerned about the drugs and all that stuff.
For sure,
because my mom thinks I'm huge. I don't see it. So imagine how much bigger I should get to get competitive. Yeah. So she's already looking at this, and she's like, "Are you healthy? Are you are you supposed to be this size and all that stuff?" But for me and you guys, like, what I'm trying to do right now, to add as much weight as possible. So yeah,
it's just all love.
Yeah,
it's all love, but we're gonna do it anyways, regardless. But we can also appreciate that they just love us. That's it. There's nothing malicious about it. She just loves you. But you don't do that shit anyways.
I know. But she was always like that, to be honest. But I never thought like me turning pro would change her mind a little bit. But that didn't fucking change nothing.
At least she knows what it means. Like if I turn pro, my mom don't even know what the fuck that means. You're pro? Okay. She'd be like, I don't know what the fuck it is. She can't even tell the difference. All right. If you could pick any one food to make it 0 calories, which food would it be?
Pizza.
Right there. What he said.
Almond butter.
That was actually on my mind too. Pizza.
Almond butter?
Almond butter? This
is that even a food?
Unadventurous.
During prep, dude, that stuff is like crack.
Well, not during prep.
Have pizza during prep.
Pizza is better than crack. Pizza's like heroin.
Go right through you too because it's 0 calories.
Yeah.
Honestly, bro, I think cookies. I like cookies a lot.
Huh. I haven't had like a crazy sweet tooth. I have more of a savory tooth.
I always get a sweet tooth during prep.
I don't know why it's funny to me that Joe likes cookies, man.
Such a Joe thing to say.
I gotta be thinking something like some kind of Italian food as well. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to say burger and fries. I only crave that in prep. Maybe like I could do a good oxtail, rice and peas. I could do that.
Pizza or ice cream? Ice cream, I'll do maybe ice cream or pizza.
Ice cream?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I pick savory, it's for sure pizza, but sweets, cookies.
Pizza gotta be a new. I don't want to brag about the East Coast, but it gotta be. It don't even have to be New York. It could be New York, Jersey. I could do New York, Jersey, even Chicago, but New York, Jersey, because people talk about New York slices, but Jersey got them slices too. You know, a lot of people. Nobody includes Jersey, but I've had some beautiful slices in Jersey as well. So
New York, Jersey, Connecticut, those three.
Yeah, it's a different ball game. This Cali pizza, bro. Brother.
Bro, literally,
brother.
me and my girl were literally sitting in the kitchen after our last meal yesterday, and for a whole ass hour, we were talking about all the childhood food we liked growing up, all the little shit we would do, like with Oreos and all kind like these ice cream truck products, like all kind of shit. That was a bonding experience, but I just went to sleep fucking miserable.
You know what I used to eat when I was a kid? I would eat like a shitload of quesadillas. And I had like I'd have like leftover meat, whether it was like steak or chicken in the fridge from like dinner, and I like dice it up and put it in there. It was fucking good, man. That's still like my comfort food go-to.
That sounds good. When I used to watch Juan Morel videos, and there's one thing I copied off him. He would get the ice cream, and then he would get the Oreos, crush it up, and then put the syrup on it. I started doing that for a while. I'm bulking, bro. You know, I was like maybe like 19, 20. I'm bulking, you know.
Bro, there was I'll never forget, there was a night where I went to a warehouse party. I was probably like 20 or 21. And they were like playing beer pong, but literally the cups were filled with vodka. And I lost. So I drank all that fucking vodka. And then the secondhand high that I got from being in that enclosed area, I ate like the stupidest amount of Jack in the Box, like a crazy amount of Jack in the Box. Went home, and then my family bought like regular like granny's, you know, like box of donuts. And there was like 10 donuts in there. I guess I blacked out, but I ate every donut in there. My younger brother comes to me the next morning. Yo, you ate all fucking donuts. Oh, I didn't have like 3. Like, no, Joe, the box is gone. There's like a bite of a little chocolate one left. I didn't even remember doing that. Like, damn.
Joe and Pharaoh.
What a great fucking night. I couldn't stop eating. I didn't even feel like my stomach expand.
Joe blacked out.
I can't believe you didn't puke, bro. You're drinking vodka out of a red Solo cup and you eat all that food? Man. God. You have a strong stomach.
Built to survive, bro. That's all it is.
You were stronger back then. I think we all were.
Yeah. My parents created a machine.
Are big clits a turn off?
Fuck yeah, man.
Well, how big we talking? It don't bother me.
If you look like you have a micro penis, bro, I don't think I'm about it.
You know what?
Really?
It never bothered me. I gotta be honest with you. It never bothered me. I like muscular women.
But the first time, it's fucking pretty weird though. You got to get used to it.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck is this?
No. The first time ever, it maybe catches you a little bit off guard, but I was cool with it. I like muscular women for the most. I like all women, to be honest, but I am into muscular women. As long as I think they're pretty, I don't really care. You know, I don't care about the clit. I don't care about how muscular they are. Honestly, you know, maybe if you're my height, that's the only time it gets a little strange for me. If you're like muscular and then really tall, that's not my cup of tea always. Besides that, but no. Anybody turned off by big clits? Besides, did Joe say that?
I say, I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine like little wiener looking thing. Like, hey, want a sword fight? I'm gonna win.
I get that. I've never seen it bigger than this. Like this. I've never seen it bigger than that.
That's not
like.
bad.
What about this? Can you do
That's
this?
bad.
No,
Nope.
fuck no, dog. That's like sucking a little dick. No, I'll pass.
That's what I fucking said. I ain't sucking no little dick.
Uh,
I can't speak on
Oh,
what I haven't
man.
experienced, so
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I personally, I don't know. You know, but
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm just
yeah.
this is an assumption based on a fucking little wiener looking thing.
Based on what I've seen, based on visually what I've seen, as of right now, probably not. But I don't know. You never know, man.
Weird ass question.
That is very
Really
funny.
funny.
Clips aside, right? Why is the person asking the question? Let me see.
He said clips aside. Just move it over.
Clips aside, do any of you have a limit of muscularity of women that you would date?
I do like
I
muscular
don't.
women. Yeah.
I wouldn't like him too muscular.
I like muscle on the woman as long as it's aesthetically pleasing, I guess.
As long as it's still feminine, I'm good.
If it looks good on them and they're pretty, I don't really. But that goes for any girl, like whether it's height, weight, whatever. If I find you attractive, I just find you attractive, personally. You
I
know.
don't know. If I feel your body and it feels kind of like my body, I'm like, nope.
Yeah, you don't want to date Joe.
I don't want to feel my own body.
I feel that.
See, this feels weird. These tits aren't the same.
All right, let's pivot out of that one. Most shredded bodybuilder ever. You can't say Munzer.
Yeah, boy, he is. So what do you want to say? Like second
Well-
most shredded? It's like, is that what we're talking about here?
Ronnie was fucking peeled.
98, yeah, 98, Ronnie. There's not many people more peeled than that.
Dorian.
I mean, like, with all due respect to Munzer, I feel like Prime Dorian and like Ronnie 98 were just as peeled, maybe not as dry, but they had no body fat on them. And they were hard as nails. You
Throw
know.
Hottie in the mix.
Oh,
From the I would say yes from the front, but from the back, I don't believe he's as tight as Munzer, Ronnie 98, or even Dorian's best. Like the glutes, hammies, lower back, I think in Vancouver it was though. I think in Vancouver it was.
Rich Gaspari was pretty.
Flex Lewis,
pretty-
I was gonna say. Flex Lewis was shredded to the bone.
From the, I think from the back, Flex Lewis is one of the top. From the front, with the abs and chest and arms and shoulders, even the quads, I don't think.
We're talking across the board, most shredded bodybuilder with regards outside of Munzer. I personally think it's Sarah Villegas. Me personally, men. And
That's
women.
a big change of direction.
Yeah. If we're talking conditioning, I think
Bro, her
Sarah
glutes
Villegas.
are crazy.
Yeah, outside of if we're just talking bodybuilding, since he said not Munzer, so
Yeah.
I picked Sarah Villegas for mine.
What about Michael the Bull?
He doesn't touch Sarah.
Really?
Like when she kneels, you can literally see every fiber, like everything. I don't think anyone's touching Sarah Villegas in conditioning. Me personally speaking,
I see where Ken's going. It's just hard to compare males to females because of, certain things like the chest and abs and it's gonna be a different look. But body fat wise, I mean, she don't got no fucking body fat, so I feel like she would be up there. It's kind of hard to compare different divisions. So let's say strictly men's open. So no Michael the Bull, no Sarah. Let's say men's open because that's easier to compare. I want to say Ronnie 98. I want to say Dorian.
Rich Gaspari. He was
Bill
the first
Heath,
guy that ever had
2016.
shredded glutes.
Huh. Phil Heath was so round and full that it gave him a different look, and I believe he had no body fat as well. but he didn't look as grainy as those guys. I think just
Later
visually.
in his career, he kind of did. He got more of
Looked
that
too
look,
healthy.
but it still wasn't quite there.
You look too healthy, man. You look too
Too healthy. Yeah, true that.
Yeah,
You gotta
he
look
did
fucked
look
up.
healthy.
You gotta look fucked up. Let me see Gaspari because I'm not. All I remember from Gaspari is the glutes. But let me
Dude,
see if I can.
Gaspari would diet so hard going into those shows. Like, he would just kill himself.
Let me see if I can find
I
something.
remember Chris Aceto talking about him back in the day at Gold's, and like the only carbs that he had, like his high carb day or something, was like he had an apple before he trained, and that was it.
Yeah,
Would
I
you
got
throw
the best
Dexter in
stations.
there for conditioning?
He's up there. Dexter's up there. I'm not seeing good pictures of Rich. Maybe YouTube. Let me see.
Because when I think about like in the last 2 decades of bodybuilding, like the last 3 eras, like who are the guys that are known for conditioning? It was
Hey,
Dorian.
doesn't Bruce get pretty fucking peeled?
He gets crazy peeled. Let me see.
There's
I
Dorian,
couldn't feel
Adi, Ronnie.
Roman Fritz gets pretty fucking peeled.
Yeah.
He does actually. Yeah.
Like there's literally no fat between the skin of his ass and his muscle.
You guys can see this, huh?
Yep.
Let's see. I like how they used to have them talk like that. I feel like they should bring that back. You know?
Do we have
You know, like
anything interesting to say though? Like,
some of you probably.
Well, because back then they didn't have social media, so they do enough talking on social media nowadays.
Okay. If you're gonna move.
Notice the back
He
chop.
looks,
So good.
blasting full here though.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him that full before. I didn't know.
He must have
must
had
have been-
2 apples.
He was blasting full, man.
He got veins in his
Fucking
chest.
apple tree.
I think this was like a different look because I don't think he was. I don't remember him being this round.
Yeah, me neither.
Look at his calves. I didn't even know he had calves like that. I want to see a back shot. Okay. I want to see Stu hit that pose.
I don't think
Can you
I
all-
could even hit that pose if I wanted.
Yeah,
to.
can you all hit the Arnold pose? Is anyone on this pod know how to hit the Arnold pose properly?
I don't know about properly. I could try. I hit it better than Joe. How about that?
Yeah, I can't. I've never actually shown myself try it, but I don't think I can even fucking do it.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay, if you're gonna.
Biddy, I'd like to see you do it. You sent us a pic. I don't believe it.
I got some up
I've seen Beatty do it. I've seen Beatty do it.
Yeah.
when I'm in shape. I mean, not like right now. It's gonna look weird probably when I'm a little leaner. I'm good.
I don't know if it's the video. He's peeled, but like I think we've.
This is not the best video. I still think he's extremely peeled.
He's extremely
But
peeled, yeah.
that's not the best video quality because he's not even flexing his glutes in their striated.
Yeah, but they didn't do that back then. It's weird.
They didn't at all. Well, he was the only one here even showing his glutes. Because if you look at Lee Haney, he wasn't actually showing his glutes.
They got those granny panties, diapers.
Yeah, look, he's showing his entire glutes. He's still not flexing it, but he would flex it like once just to show it, and then he would stop flexing it. Like this whole routine, he hasn't flexed it.
I guess they were more homophobic back then or something.
Great routine.
Yeah, really good routine. What was the question? Oh, okay, I don't know, 98 Ronnie, Dorian, maybe Hadi. That's all I got.
I think Hadi's there, man. I think Hadi's is part of that mix. Like if you look at each era, there's someone that you pinpoint for condition. It was Dorian, it was Gaspari, it was Ronnie, and I think it's Hadi now. So
yeah, that's a go-to guy. And sometimes you have to have a certain level of physique for it to even be noticed. Because there's probably like fucking amateur guys who've been stupid peeled that nobody knows about. You know,
Natural guys that look like that.
Yeah, you're right. That nobody talks about. So, yeah. All right. I mean, one more
Oh,
question.
Yeah.
Huh? What was that?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
He's yelling at his cat.
I have some people here
Okay.
feeding the house and things like that.
Okay. I want to find a good one. All right.
While you're looking
huh?
While you're looking for that, who won that debate, Joe, between Flex and Levi? Who won that?
Levi, I believe.
Levi.
Oh, Levi got that.
I'm Team Flex personally. I like him. He's so up in our business, you know. He's always like crawling all over his desk and shit.
Levi, come here, bud.
I like these matchup questions because it's always very debatable, I guess. Prime
Levi.
Kai. Huh?
No one's paying attention to the question, bro. He's a corgi.
So Prime Kai, Prime Ramy, Prime Jay Cutler. How do they place? Kai's-
Rami, Kai.
So Kai's best, Jay's best, Ramy's best.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What-
Actually, Zaid.
What does they
Thank
say?
you.
Let me hear the question.
Jay, Ramy, Kai in that order.
So what's Jay's best? 2001 or 2009?
For me,
the
or none.
2001 look. I like the 2001 look.
2001. So what's wait, who did I say? What's Kai's best? Because they were the smaller, more shredded Kai, and they're the bigger, less shredded Kai. I like 2010 Arnold.
Say
Oh,
Arnold.
yeah.
The Arnold T1, that's the best one.
He was more than big enough, but
I
he
agree
was more than big enough, but he was the most shredded guy there, which I think is better than being 15 pounds bigger but 15 pounds softer. It kind of defeats the point.
Was that the show where Arnold talked shit about his stomach?
No. That's when he came back. That's when he was bigger, Kai. When he was bigger.
Oh,
Kai.
okay, I can remember.
What about
What
Rami?
timeline
What
is it?
Rami here are you guys picking?
I like New York. I gotta say,
Yeah.
I like the New York.
2013, yeah. I think 2013 is my Rami pick too.
2014
go.
Olympia Rami was crazy.
A similar look, round, full. Boy, he was in shape. I don't feel like he wasn't peeled. Like he wasn't peeled by any means, but he had lines in his glutes, man. That's more than you can say than a lot of people, I guess. You know.
Still looked
I don't
healthy.
know.
He had the healthy look to him.
So yeah, I think I got to agree with Jay. Jay, I don't think they're beating Jay. Now Kai and Ramy, in person, I feel like Kai looked more impressive than Ramy. Well, did you say Ramy third or Ramy second?
Second.
But Ramy's best never beat Kai as prime, and I think Ramy's best was earlier. I think I got to put Kai. I think I might put Kai in front of Ramy.
I'm going by criteria today. I think criteria today. Rami.
There's one New York
shape-
pro,
the shape
Kai
and
won.
symmetry is
He
just
was
too-
really crazy looking. That one New York pro.
Well, to today's criteria before Ramy missed Pittsburgh, I'll put Ramy ahead of Kai.
Yeah.
But now after that, I don't know. It's tough.
Because Kai is so crazy looking, and it's so hard to beat him, like especially from the back poses. But like if you look at him just from bodybuilding, like he has like his traps are smaller, his forearms are a little bit smaller, but then he's got like these peaky biceps. He looks very crazy when you look at him, but like when you just orthodox bodybuilding based on today's criteria, you could say there are some gaps missing from a symmetry standpoint. You know?
Oh, there's gaps. Yeah, he's just so freaky that it was like fuck the gaps. He's freaky, but he had gaps. Yeah, he had gaps. Yeah, that's why when people would say, "Oh, he's beating Phil," I just couldn't see it, bro. I couldn't see it. Like his chest didn't have the fullness. His arms didn't have the fullness. His waist was getting wider. Even when he was smaller, his waist didn't look that pretty. You know, I thought he was clearly in second. I thought he was quite ahead in second, but I just never saw him beating Phil, man. Even when he beat Phil at the Arnold, I kind of saw Phil winning, if I'm being honest. So
Yeah.
Shot for shot, though, I think he kills all of them in the back lat spread. I don't think anyone's touching him on that pose. Even back double, I think he killed both of them. And both back.
Wait, who kills who?
Kai kills Jay and Rami.
Oh yeah. Oh, my fault. I thought you meant full. I'm about to say back double. Oh yeah, Ronnie. Yeah. I mean Rami and Jay. He beats both of them from the back. I think he beats both of them from the back. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You guys want to call it there, or you want to do one more?
One
Hey,
more.
do you guys buy random shit that you don't need on prep?
Oh man, don't
All the time.
don't remind me. Don't remind me.
So yesterday, no, this was Wednesday. It was my day off from the gym, and I cleared all my clients, right? Because I wanted to be on the podcast with Lee. So I was stuck doing nothing all day, and I was like, "Fuck." I started watching that Super Mario movie. I already saw it, but I liked it. And I was like, man, I really miss playing like Super Smash Bros. And shit. So I sat there for like an hour, and then now I have a Nintendo Switch, and I'm gonna play Smash Bros. when I'm off the podcast.
Oh man.
Money doesn't mean
I bought
shit.
it after I fucking bought that too, and I was like, did I fucking even need that? Yeah.
You're never going to use that after prep.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, did I even need that? But hey, fuck it. It was fun when I played it.
Bro, the other day I was ordering some GH, right? And I had a few friends that needed some wink and stuff. You know, but yeah, so but now I went way over it. I was like, okay, this guy needs this much, this guy needs this much, I need about this much. Fuck it, let's double it. Let me just get double of that shit. And I just spent a bunch of money on GH, which I don't regret because we're gonna use it, but I'm like, that was a bit uncalled for. It was
It's
just
never a bad
urge.
decision, honestly.
Yeah,
I can't fault you for that at all.
That's a smart investment. Yeah.
If you ain't gonna use it, you can scalp some kid at the fucking gym. You want to go sell it to
They
him?
get it. Well, you know what I was thinking?
Double your
because
money.
recently, like there's been a lot of like shortages, like out of stock, and I'm like, oh no, we can't have that. We can't have that. So I'm trying to be safe. The Q Tropins, you heard they stopped it. They discontinued it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So
All right,
there's a
Tropin.
yeah.
I never used them, but like I've heard good things.
I wasn't even aware, but all the Q-Tropin fiends started sending me DMs like, hey, bro, there's no more Q-Tropin in there. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, you know. But I can't help you with that. There's no more. Yeah,
but I got fiends for those.
Uh-huh.
Wink,
These is good, man. These ones is good. I'm feeling it. Zay, what you think about these ones, Zay? You liking
Pretty
it?
good, honestly. Yeah. So far,
yeah.
so good. So far, so good.
Finally got you off your pharma high horse.
Yeah.
Yo,
Welcome to the dark side.
Somebody just made a post. I think it was Jason Coley made a post. Did you guys see that about the?
Yeah. I just believe 8 IUs of Serostim is still superior to 20 IUs of American generic. I really think so.
I don't
Why?
I don't agree.
Based
man.
off of what? Have you ever done either of those? I mean,
I have. I have done.
What does the difference do to you that you think is that?
You use 20 units of generics.
No, I haven't done that.
Okay, so.
But I'm just saying, 8 IUs of generics. 8 IUs of Sero. I think it was same fullness, but a lot leaner.
I've actually done that.
Just using Serostim. I don't know. Maybe it's just my response. I truly felt leaner on it.
I've actually done 20 IUs of both. I've done 20 Sero and 20 of this one.
What do you think, Beatty?
I felt like this one was stronger. If I'm being completely honest, I don't have any horse in the race. I got bigger, fuller, and leaner off this one. It's just very noticeable.
When you're spending that kind of money, you're going to justify it in your head that it's better.
No, well, at the time that the money wasn't an issue because I don't mean you at all.
I'm saying people are always just like Ceros and this. I mean, when you're
Oh,
spending
yeah,
that
if
kind
you're
of money,
doing
I think you're
eight
saying, yeah,
units of
that's what I'm saying.
Ceros a day, what is it, like $5 or $6 an IU? It's like 40-50 bucks a day.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're gonna
Well,
justify it in your head. It's good. You have to. You have to.
So how can we actually find out? Let's be honest. How can we
we
actually
did.
find out?
We already did. I did both, and then I came to that conclusion, at least for my body. So you got to try it. That's the only way to know. To do 20 IUs of both.
And that's
I've
what I was
used
saying.
I've used I've used 8 IUs of Humatrope for a couple years. I mean, this is before I was using the generics. I stopped buying the Humatrope, and I went back to the generics. I'd rather use generics. I mean, my hands tingle more with them. Like I just feel it more with the generics than I do
I
with the
think
pharma.
if they were so much better,
Everybody
I
would
think
know.
people everyone at the top would be exclusively just
What?
on.
Not even at the top.
And it's not the
Everybody,
case.
period.
Yeah.
Like I would do if I took
Wow.
Ceros and then I'm seeing more results. I'm gonna say like fuck it. I'm gonna just do less
Spend
Ceros.
money.
You know what I'm saying? I don't because it's not like we have a horse in the race. Like it's irrelevant for me. It's like
No.
whatever's better.
It should be said that the people who do have a horse in the race are usually very pro pharma.
Mhm.
Do with
Yeah,
that
that's
what
true.
you will.
That's true. It's true. Yeah. I mean, okay, let's say, okay, I don't believe this is true, but let's say if it was true, let's say 8 IUs of Cero is better than 20 IUs of generic. You're still paying more. So at that point, I would say, fuck it. I'm going to do 40 IUs of generic. If that was the case, I would still be saving money. So even if you go with that argument, it's still not worth it, right? So there's no universe that is worth it. To pay 4 times the price to get 2 times the strength still isn't worth it to me.
Unless we go, like, if we end up going to war with China, we're going to have some problems with the generic supply.
Oh,
That's going to be a problem, dude.
That's when
That's
you buy
gonna be-
like fucking 40 in one
And you
shot.
should stock up. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So luckily I stocked up a bit. I might have to stock up
man.
some more. Everybody's going low on stock, but hey, gentlemen, I love talking to you. I could talk to you guys all day, but I have a business to attend to.
Business.
So
Let's do it.
I gotta bow out. But thank you guys for coming, man. Late. Stu was late, but that's all good. It's okay. It's not like I'm paying him.
Yeah, the check wasn't in the mail yet. So once I got it, I showed up.
Ken is with Animal now, so he might not show up. He getting money now. So he'll show up if he needs to. He getting the animal money, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good. Thank you, Paul, for coming. Thank you, Zaid, for coming. Thank you, Joe. Joe looks hungry, so get to your food. And Stu, I guess thank you to Stu too. I guess thank you to Stu too.
Thanks.
No editing, right? I think that was smooth.
Nah,
I don't know. We just talked about a bunch of growth hormone sources at the end of that. So up to you.
We answered
A little
like
sketch.
With
we
the
answered
weak
like
one.
We're still recording.
answered
by
like
the
2
way, just so
questions.
you know.
Yeah, we still recording. We still we answered like 2 questions probably, right? No,
It was only 2, literally.
Nothing new there. Yeah.
Hey, you guys start posting the questions to because I feel like I get the same questions. Right? It's the same shit. It's gonna be something about muscular girls, or then something about fucking drugs or GH, and then some kind of matchup, fucking Ramy versus this guy or this. I get the same questions, so you guys are gonna have to start asking questions. All right, y'all.
All right.
Peace out.
All right. See you later, guys.
Later.
Thank you, my
Continue.
friends.
Brother.